Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $700 on average, and those savings add up. Imagine what you could buy in the future.
So I used the savings from switching to Progressive 30 years ago to buy tickets to the championship game. You know, between those two teams that didn't exist 30 years ago. Yeah, I'm a big Alaska Palm Trees fan. Which is a team now, in the future.
So switch to Progressive and save big, because those savings can add up in the future. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National annual average insurance savings by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive in 2020. Potential savings will vary.
This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular, dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rule. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
You got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
This is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans. That's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Bang.
Hey, folks. Welcome to One Nation Radio. I'm James Boyd, and here with me I have Rich Latta. What's going on, man?
James, what is going on? I am chilling. Some more pack has arrived. More of the McMahon variety. And yeah, we've got a lot to talk about, so we might as well just get straight into it. Yeah, man. Vince McMahon. Yeah, man. We did breaking news audio Friday night. If you guys haven't heard it, check it out. I'm very proud of that show. Felt like we were preparing for that show for years, so we could do it in the drop of a dime. Yeah, man. And the fallout from that, the way it was framed as a retirement and all this stuff, completely went up in smoke. If people didn't realize that was bullshit last week when we said it was bullshit, they for sure know it now. So I don't know if they need to tell themselves it's a retirement to make them feel better, but they discovered that this man had got $14 million, $14.2 million, I believe, of the WWE money. It was like missing and not accounted for. People have gone to jail for less. There like he was, we all wondered if it was company money, and oh yeah, it was for sure company money. This was a quit or be fired situation. This was you need to go or we will make you go. This was so many different situations like that. Like they didn't even let him stay on as a puppet. Like it was the dude in The Wire, like the police commissioner. I forgot what the fuck his name was. The black dude.
I can't remember.
I can't remember. But at the end, they basically keep him on. They're like, yeah, and you can go quietly. Vince McMahon chose to go quietly, like a bitch.
It wasn't Colvin, was it?
It was Colvin. No, it wasn't Colvin.
It was a person above Colvin.
Correct. Somebody will get us in the comments.
Go to the Wikia page for The Wire and scroll through all that to come back with that answer. But yeah, 14.6?
The tax man. Yes, the tax man coming to get you.
14.
IRS, if you will.
Wow. And from what I heard from Meltzer, like, they're not sure whether, like, that 14.6, if, like, that's already, like, the 12 million that's already been talked about, or if that's, like, other money. We don't know. All we know is for sure is this man has spent, like, 8 figures on keeping it on the low after this man has done something inappropriate at the workplace. It boggles the mind how many more of these we'll learn about over the next weeks and months and years.
And Vince is going to be gone from the board of directors over this. Like, he's not coming back. If anybody was holding on to some weird hope that he'd be back in a year when everything quieted down, no, that is not the case. I don't know how you bring a person back into the fold with this on their record. And it has gone really bad really quickly for Vince. And there's rumors that another Wall Street Journal story will drop this week. Of course, HBO Real Sports is coming
on Friday.
And they are not playing. Lothario Negro says NXT was Amsterdam. Brewhaven, 8 figures for Coochie is nuts.
All right, I got to get like the settings because like, hold on. Hide offensive language. Turn that off. Enable off. Turn that whole thing off. I need to see. Yeah. All right. Now we cooking because I was like, what did he say? Because like I'm trying to use context to try to figure out process elimination of what he possibly said. Yeah. Okay. We with it now.
Yeah. So also Lothario Negro brings up a good point, which I wanted to touch on too. Vince could have got some good for a couple $100,000, but he wanted to buy what wasn't for sale. And a lot of this comes down to people wonder, like, why couldn't Vince McMahon just go do it the legal way, find an escort, do whatever if he wanted to get his rocks off,
spit some game in these streets.
Correct. I'm sure Vince McMahon could have come up with something to say to a woman, but this wasn't about the women. This was about the power behind it. This was about him assuming that he could just get away with it. And I hate to say the women are secondary to that because they're not, like, obviously. But the thing isn't, no one likes to fuck like that much or whatever. Like, no, this isn't about sex. This isn't about anything. This is about, he thinks he can do something. The thrill of doing that, and there happen to be people affected by it in the process. And this guy, like, when I was talking on Friday, talking about the owner of Fightful that was talking about all this, the Vince McMahon created wrestling, I wouldn't be here stuff and all that other stuff, it's like, I can't take anyone serious doing the flowers, doing the we'll miss Vince stuff. Like, I can't do this. Like, I refuse to do it. I refuse to engage in it. And I might outright like turn hostile if people like continue to try to do this. Like, save that for when Vince McMahon dies, and then
even if that, like, it's so
at the minimum.
It's so very misguided, and it's like no one. It feels like we as collective that are on the internet and see all these news stories from different like sectors of life in an entertainment industry altogether, and see like these same mistakes being made. Like when we find out people do terrible things like this, and it's like. I lived through R. Kelly, Bill Cosby, Harvey Weinstein, Joe Paterno, Jerry Sandusky, and all that stuff over the last decade or so, right? Or decade plus. Like, Sandusky's like 2011, something like that, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, how many times do you have to see important people in important places that are part of the fabric of certain institutions fall in these ways, and you still go down this line of talking in this way about these people? And it's like, my patience gets thinner and thinner with every time somebody has this kind of fall, where it's like, this person that has some indelible memory. Hulk Hogan's another perfect example of this, right? Where like, I had these memories of what they've done for me and where would I be and what it, means for my identity. It's like, I'm sorry. Like you mentioned, Vince McMahon is not your dad. Like, in the same way of that, taking a little offspring of that is like, you are who you are, and you don't need to have a fucking identity crisis right now. And like you mentioned, like he's not like he's some type of like part of your support structure. Like
I had a friend that was having these feelings. I was like, bro, you'll be a success in your profession, whether like Vince McMahon didn't help you with that. Like, like no matter what it feels like.
Right.
I almost felt like I was talking him off the ledge.
Right. And I was privy to that conversation. And I just like, what this person you feel did for you is what they did for you. That doesn't separate the terrible shit they did. Right? Like, this is, I mean, we were just talking about fucking Benoit and Jordan Grace just like 2-3 weeks ago. And it's the same thing when people were like, this person was my favorite wrestler and blah, 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 blah. And this person made it to WrestleMania and WrestleMania 20 and that moment with Eddie and all that shit. And it's like, this person heinously murdered his wife. And then there's some, like a sucker, like fucking murdered his kid. And then like after viciously killing both of them, he killed himself in a less torturous way than he could have. And it's like, hey man, like, I really don't have much time. Like, the only feeling I really have for that is like, that was horrible. I feel bad that I ever liked this person to begin with. But like the part where it's like, you kind of have, you start doing like, talk about like the good, it's like, I don't really want to hear that right now. Like, how about you focus on this bad? It never is going to come up? Oh, okay, gotcha. Like that's ultimately what it comes down to. What it feels like to me is like most of the people that are doing this is like they are not ready to let go. And it's like, I gotta say, if you ain't ready to let go of this, what are you willing to let go of? Like, where is your sense of morals? Where are your sense of code? Like, where is your sense of humanity? Where is your sense of empathy for the victims? Because you don't know them, they don't matter? Okay, great. I guess that speaks for what your code is.
It's so just mind-boggling, like how fast all this stuff happened too. Yeah. Like these stories came out, and it was like all the facilitation of Stephanie leaving the company and then coming back to the company as a interim person for Vince. Like, remember, like Vince initially stepped down and then was like, oh yeah, well, he's still going to be in charge of creative and all that. It was like, they thought that they were going to be able to like let this like blow over and let them still hang around. And then it was like, the more they looked into it, it was like, ain't no way out, Vince. Like it was like Cleo getting out the car. It was like, there's too many cops out here. They got too many bullets. Like, you about to go down in front of this car. Like, you can either pick to light your cigarette up like he was doing to walk out the last couple weeks. He lit his cigarette up, and then over this weekend, like, he sent that tweet out. He sent out the Variety article, the press release, and that was him just like taking them bullets like there. He knows what it was, like, and fire the pack up. His old ass is out of here. Yeah. And
I mean,
he's gone.
Yeah, like you mentioned, like I got another story for that. Like, he was trying to hold on. He was asking people around, like, politically, he asked people like his people he got in his trenches, and he was like what is my prognosis? And like eventually enough people had to tell him he had no chance. He had no chance in hell. All right, so now that we're appropriately finished with this saga or this episode, which is going to turn into a multiple part series. Like, this might be like a feature podcast, like section of the podcast, like weekly, bi-weekly, monthly. That could be like a yearly edition of following like the Vince. I don't even know what to call it. Like,
yeah,
the retirement of Vince McMahon, the Vince sex pest like episodes, escapades, whatever. So yeah, but I want to
might have to do the clips like for these how we did the Cody stuff. So
God, yeah. What a year.
But
so
the only person that was like, you know, they through all the switch ups, like looking at it was like, well, who's going to run this thing? Like, who's going to be, you know, whatever. And it's like, well, who's the only person that's ever like kind of had training to do it there? And it comes down that Triple H today, after being named as head of talent relations, is going to be doing the head of creative for WWE. So he has 2 jobs now. So no one seems to like think about that. But I mean, man. So
well, if Vince had croaked before 2021, this is what he would have had.
Oh, I forgot to mention this. Vince McMahon was definitely better off dying than all this stuff.
Well, who's to say? Well, I don't know if this actually do you think this doesn't come up if he's dead?
He never has to like reconcile with it, and like he doesn't go out in shame.
Like it'll all come out after he's gone, so it don't matter.
Right.
He does seem like the person is like, whatever happens after I'm going, I don't care. He does absolutely seem like that kind of person. So yeah. But as far as Triple H, like, this is the job. Like, if Vince had gone, this is what he would have been the head of talent relations, and he would have been the head of creative. Right now, he still has Pritchard with him. We haven't heard a word of whatever is going to happen with the production side, but like I mentioned last week, there's been overwhelming speculation that like Triple H and Stephanie ever got a hold of this shit. Like Dunn and his people is going to be shipped out, and NXT people are going to be shipped in. Who knows when you know, we talked about the soft, I think we talked about the soft,
relaunch.
On the air, on the Friday emergency episode. But, I don't have any idea when it's going to happen, but there's, you know, if he's going to be at the head and he's actually at the head of this, and like throughout the day, it seems more and more apparent that like this is actually going to be his show. I am not going to watch. I am going to listen to, keep my ear to it and find out when like the changes start coming in and what this looks like. And like, me and Rich all throughout the day were talking about our, I guess, confidence or lack thereof in valid reasons for and against Triple H. And Triple H is by no means a perfect booker. I think over the last decade, he's one of the better bookers we've had in pro wrestling. I think that your point that you always made is like, it's very valid. It's like he never had to keep the same roster for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. And like, there's definitely something to that. I'm interested to see how that goes. I'm interested to see how that goes when like he's the person that knows when the end of the line is for certain talent and is not at the whims of, you know, his father-in-law fucking with his roster constantly when he has things set in motion. And I was like, nope. Kairi saying Io Joshi match on TakeOver, not having that, pulling her out to be a Kabuki Warrior. We just made War Machine the tag team champions of NXT. Nope, they're the Viking Experience now. Yoink. Street Profits just won the belts. Nope, they're about to show up with the belts on the main roster, even though like we just took your previous champion that was the War Machines. Like, so it's always gonna, we're finally going to see like what this all is going to look like. I think the idea of a actual like a person that actually is aware of all of the systems, aware of all the talent, aware of where everything is, and have an actual solid vision is going to work out for the best, even if it's like not necessarily the smoothest. But like the idea that like you basically on like your developmental / college show, right? You do this, people get over in X, Y, and Z, and then like Vince just looks at probably like a fucking 8x10 of someone and says, or looks at the screen and is like, look at those muscles, bring them up. And what was he doing? Let me watch one episode of what he was doing on Hunter's show. And then it turns into whatever the fuck. Like, they got, Eli Drake, who was LA Knight on NXT, and like LA Knight was like, he was more or less what he was on the indies, and like he was having decent matches, and he's always been a very good talker. And then they bring him up, and was it Max Dupree? And he's like the head of a scouting of like a male modeling thing. It's like, what? How do you go from
Maximum
that to that?
male models.
Yeah. So, I think I just like the idea of it's going to be actually one vision, and we're going to see. And I quite frankly, like, it's not necessarily my confidence in Triple H as much as it is my confidence that, like, if I've always believed that, like, there's one person fucking up all those people, there can't be that many goddamn dummies making six figures that are in control of this shit. I just don't believe it. I just can't believe that, like, I can see one fucking guy who happened to be the father or the son of a multi-billionaire say, hey, I've been fantasy booking in notebooks and on laptops for years. Let me go ahead and put this shit together, and then like have AEW, and then see what that is, and say like in the main roster for WWE's, like, it ain't even gotta be as good as that. Can it just be competent? Like, we don't think that like we can get a team of a monkey rider team to just be competent. So that's why I'm confident. It's like, does that be better? And you even agree to this. Like, does that be better? Like, better than what? The hell? Not even the floor. Hell?
Yeah, because how I land, like, I always land on anything is up from Vince.
Right.
I just think there were a lot of questions that people weren't asking about this. Like, it was just so nostalgia of how much they liked NXT Black and Gold from like 2014 and 2018, and they didn't think about the after portion of that. And I was like, well, he's fresh off that pacemaker still. And now he's doing 5 hours a week live first run. And I think it's fair to say he struggled with 2 every week. And his peak, like the best of him was like a 1 hour taped show format that peaked in quarterly 5-match shows. And he has way more people to handle now. He has the longtime tenured veteran roster that were there with his early NXT people, the mid-tier or the mid-times NXT, the later NXT, and then he's going to start making room for the new people. And as you mentioned, like, when does he find the end of the line with some people will be interesting. And, NXT was a weapon to in its entire existence. It was built to combat your Ring of Honors, your New Japans, and people that watched up outside of WWE. I don't necessarily think that booking is going to be the way he books Raw and SmackDown. But I always land back on the point of it's going to be up from Vince. And I'm just like, oh, all right. Like, we'll see. Because we've actually, like, I was going through old messages. Like, we started talking about, the babyface track record today. We've actually had that conversation before, like maybe like a year and a half ago. And it's just like I when people lose the championships, I got, I'm wondering like what he'll do with them. And it's a lot, like, and will he look at talent like the same way he did in NXT? And there's like, will he miss on people? And of course the answer to that is of course, yeah, you'll miss on somebody, but like, there's, a lot that Triple H, like, people assume that there was just a lot of stuff, but like, I seem to remember him pushing the hell out of Karrion Kross. So like, there could be some of that in there too. So,
yeah. I just think that, I personally think that given the things that we heard about NXT written or whether else, I think Michael Cedric wrote that NXT developmental hell book or whatever. And like, a lot of it came down to is like, he was actually doing what Vince should have done, where it was like treat or hire a team and actually put them in place to do their job instead of micromanaging everything and ripping up scripts and having shit planned out. And obviously, like you mentioned, it's easier to tape 3 or 4 shows and let it run out. But like, the idea where even at its worst with NXT before they had that first NXT wave of cuts in 2000 of last year in the summer, like they were still saying, hey, next week we have these 2 or 3 matches. 2 weeks from now we have 1 match already to build anticipation. We haven't seen that on the main roster since like 2016 SmackDown when they had Ryan Ward at the time at the helm of that SmackDown writing team. Like, can you do the simple fucking things? Like this isn't hard. This is like booking wrestling continuously is hard, but like the structure in place. If he just follows the structure, he ain't even got to turn his brain on to be like, yeah, bro, I need you to go out here and do like a set up like a Kenny Hangman level story or a Eddie Kingston Jericho level story. Like, can you just simply keep the fucking lights on and tell people what they're going to see next week to get them to tune in with a fun match or 2, and then can you give them something to look forward to in 2 weeks and build that it's going to be a promo, it's going to be a debut, it's going to be whatever it is. Like, and then go from there. And also like like we talk about with WWE often in the Vince era, especially at the last few years, is like, you know what your schedule is because you know that that Royal Rumble is on like the last Sunday of January. WrestleMania is in the first Sunday of April. SummerSlam is usually in like the middle of August. Survivor Series like the Sunday before Thanksgiving. I know the schedule by heart. Yeah, there's some changes here and there, but mostly you fit those 4 in and you throw like Money in the Bank in the summer somewhere, Hell in a Cell in the fall somewhere, or they changed it recently, but like, you know, like all of these pay-per-views basically are like 10 of the 12 or whatever else are like the same every single year on rotation. How do you keep getting fucking blindsided by the fact like
it's like you're always running up that hill.
Right. Like, it's not that hard. Have a plan, know what the big shows are, have an idea of what matches you want to do from there, and then like sit there and collaborate effort with the writers to come up with something cool or whatever else, and like delegate and take the credit when the shit doesn't go bad.
However, I do not want I want no parts of that global localization shit that he was trying to pull with NXT and the maps and all that stuff, like, and, you know, trying to buy out promotions and shit. Like, they can keep all that shit. Hopefully Nick Khan is like, nah, we don't need to be doing none of that.
You don't think that's dead?
It could be back alive, you know.
I think the only person that really wanted that was Vince.
I think Triple H wanted that badly.
I think Triple H wanted that to because that was his job, is to want it. I don't think he actually wanted it. Like, what? NXT India?
Everyone wants.
If you want NXT India so bad, why did he say, "Hey, let me go ahead and hit Jinder with, you know, one of them"? You know, I don't.
He knew. What else?
Griff makes a great point. Nick Khan seems that he wants to keep those books, you know,
in the green
clean
as much as possible.
I mean, they're still talking about, you know, still talks about like the stock price when people expect to sell, and people have been talking about sales for WWE ever since Nick Khan showed up.
Yeah. So it will be interesting to see like how it all plays out. Regardless, in the long run, I think this is an improvement. No, I do not want NXT North Korea Brewhaven.
Brother, wow.
I think it does bring up an interesting conversation, like thinking about, you know, wrestlers that may, you know, do better under Triple H, people that, you know, have no chance of like personally, I was like just going through my head earlier. I was like, well, I think Triple H being in charge, I feel like we got to worry about Chris Jericho going back to WWE because I just feel like that ain't gonna happen. CM
like
Punk,
as an active wrestler or like Hall of Fame.
like an active wrestler. I don't see it.
I think that he will get a competitive offer when his contract is up. Don't you?
I don't know. I think the Triple H Jericho beef is like, I think he would love to sign Jericho. I don't think CM Punk would ever go back and work for Triple H now.
No, well, I don't mean it necessarily as we actually, or Triple H like actually wants him, or Jericho actually wants to work for him, as much as it is like, I gotta make Tony Khan pay something to keep him, right? Like, the fantasy auction aspect of like, all right, if you want Rob Gronkowski at tight end in 2012 or 11 or 13, actually, that's more appropriate. Then like you gonna have to spend like $35 to $40 out of $200 auction. You're gonna have to. I ain't gonna let you get him for 28. Can't do that. That's bad business.
Yeah. I think the odds of Punk ever going drastically go down. But I think there's a lot of people would open up for, like, you know, like we saw the memes, the Johnny Gargano memes that were out there that were pretty funny. Like, I think if I was him, I would have that music hit sometime this week just for the optics.
Wait, at AEW?
No,
or
like,
WWE?
I put, if I'm Triple H, I call Johnny Gargano and be like, so what you doing this week? Like, in
being a father, how about you?
We got a plane ticket for you, and you'll be back home. You got to think. Also, Diogo brings a great point up. You know, Kenny's contract's up in 6 months. There was some stuff that was going on with FTR and Jim Cornette that, you know, I was not a fan of, or FTR, Tony Khan, Jim Cornette. Talking about Jim Cornette in the press conference, like in glowing terms, and saying he's earned the right to criticize, and, you know, some of the stuff he says is fair, or a lot of the stuff he says is fair. And I'm like, I don't expect the people that like get all this vile stuff sent to them via Cornette, via his minions and his army of people, to differentiate the quote unquote stuff Cornette is right about. And then when I hear in a press conference, TK saying, yeah, you know, these guys, you know, it's a lot, you know, that he's right about it, but like he's ready to fight someone that's talking about, he's ready to fight over Eric Bischoff, insulting CM Punk. It's like, well, why aren't you having, you know, Kenny's back like that? Why aren't you having Mox's back like that? Like, when he's saying right now that Mox is the worst wrestler in the world and all this stuff like that, it's like, I don't understand that. And basically I'm looking at it like, I don't feel like people make big decisions. I think they make small, simple decisions. And I would imagine, you know, in 6 months from now, I know Triple H and Kenny Omega have had conversations before. Yeah. I know that they go quite well.
Right.
I know
Kenny Omega,
kind of fond of each other.
Right. And Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, they both said, like, if it wasn't for AEW, we would be out here working for the Fed, brother. So they both, or all three of them, had mentioned that at some point, in some form or fashion, like outwardly. So yeah, like, look, do you think Triple H will fuck up Kenny Omega? I do not.
It comes back to Vince, like, all right, like, the beauty of pro wrestling speech. If Kenny Omega had a conversation about the beauty of pro wrestling with Triple H, I think it would go a lot better than it would if he was having that same conversation with Vince McMahon.
Well,
that's what I'll say.
Because,
do I ever want to see it? Fuck no.
Look, because Triple H understands it, because you know what's going to happen? Kenny going to talk about all that stuff, and, like, Triple H can be like, you know what, let me show you something. I want to show you something very important to me. And then all of a sudden that man reach up, and it's that fucking sledgehammer talking about character work. He's like, I get it, brother. I get everything you mean about the beauty of professional wrestling. Do you see this? Do you see how many years this brought me with character work?
Disgusting.
So yes, they will absolutely hit it off. And, like, that's the thing when it comes to Triple H, like, Booker or whatever else.
So dude, TK, be careful, because it could happen.
It's gonna be competitive.
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be competitive. Like, you know, just like we mentioned about the Jericho thing, like he's gonna make him give him a number that, you know, is gonna make him not, you know, love it. It's gonna be a real negotiation. I'm not saying he will leave. I'm not saying, I don't know. But like, he's that level or Kenny Omega's that level of talent where it's like, you know, like he said, like they say they're going to give me AJ Styles and give me X amount of time at WrestleMania. You don't think that, look, that was quote unquote Triple H via Vince McMahon. Now that it's just him, what do you think he'll say? Hey, you saw at that time that they shouldn't have gave Briscoes and FTR. You want that? So yeah. I think this is for we talk about, you know, sports teams, everything, and like, and how hard they practice, and they say they got better or they didn't based on how hard they practice. Did they actually improve? Look, pro wrestling got better today. It got better today. Regardless of how much better, we don't know, but it definitely got better. And, I'm interested to see what this all leads to. And like, if this means like, you know, this has always been the dream ever since AEW started. Whether it was, even when it was them versus NXT and them trying to, you know, play that long bleed game or whatever else, it was, there's going to be a place for people that's talented to go do their thing and make some money and be stars in the eyes of a group of fans that watch pro wrestling. And then eventually, talent's going to swap back and forth. And people are going to try to get in where they fit in, and compared to how they feel about their current situation and their hierarchy and, you know, the amount of time they get and all that kind of stuff. And it's for the best that WWE, you know, have these hard conversations with people and say, hey, bro, like, thanks for the years. We don't really see it no more. You've been a staple of the roster for decades.
Or the roster members tell them, hey, man, I don't see myself here no more.
Right. It's for the best. Because, like, you need new matchups, and that's lifeblood of pro wrestling. And if we get that going back and forth, like we mentioned, we ain't necessarily got to worry about whether or not Triple H can book with a roster that turns stale after 5 years, because the roster will never get stale, will it?
Yeah, so more of Vince McMahon being packed up. So it always comes back to that. But let's see the comments. So Brewhaven says, someone made a great point that Dax could feel okay about Cornette's insults because they won't ever go as far as he does with the other people.
And that's absolutely right, because they're the teacher's pet or whatever you will, or object of affection with them. Like, all the stuff that the AEW people ever get from Cornette and his fan base or whatever else, like, the people that get the least are FTRs, Cody's, when Cody was still around. So when they feel like, you know, it ain't that bad, it's like, well, shit. Compared to what? Compared to Sonny Kiss? Compared to Kenny Omega? Compared to the Young Bucks? No. Like, you gotta, I wish they would have
the Joshi.
Right. I wish they would have the self-awareness to understand that, but, you know, apparently
and
not.
That's why I'll never really rock with FTR, because, like, you know, a part of what I was talking about because
they also talk real sensitive whenever they get the smallest bit of criticism too, like, so they should understand it easily.
When I was talking about the corny stuff Dax does on Twitter, this is part of it. Like he frolics amongst those and kind of, you know, stokes those stuff, and I understand there's a part of it that's like him working to try to, you know, create interest in himself like that. But
you think it was a work when he was talking about how much Shawn hurt his heart when he made a joke in front of the Clique?
That sounded for real.
And it's still going to this day. That's why they still doing the Bret Hart tribute stuff with CM Punk.
So it's you know, yeah, Sam, good point. The Bucks made them what they are today, even gave them their name. Man, we'll get to it when we start talking about the matches. But like when I was watching that press conference, I was offended on the behalf of all those people, like that TK would sit there and co-sign that, and I imagine that a conversation was had somewhere, like, hey man, you see this shit? And
bound to have happened.
Yeah, like and it was not appreciated.
It was definitely noted.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
Ring of Honor,
Kenneth Omega.
Yeah. So, it would be funny though. Yo, Kenny be like, all right, I'll leave AEW, right?
Uh-huh.
What do you want, Kenny? Well, you know what I was thinking? It would be real nice if I could go over Cody. It would be a real cool way to come in, you know?
You finna have what was it? What was that shit that Kevin Nash and Scott Hall had in their contracts with First Nations?
Yeah, favored nations.
Favored nations. You finna have Cody out here with the lawyer like them when they was out here like going breaking down every single job. So this dude's like, I'm doing a job. All right, I need $10K for that one, buddy.
It would be like that Bill Russell and Will Chamberlain. Like, I want $1 more than him.
Yeah, that was That's not only just that. Like, Nick Saban for the longest had a contract like that. Like, whenever someone in the SEC got a raise, he had to make like X more than them every single time. So he kept him for like every time one of his assistants got hired to, well, it worked out Kirby Smart in Georgia, but like, you want to hire what's his name? You want to hire Buddy from Tennessee? Okay, boom, tax you. Like, it kept happening over and over and over. So yeah, man. But anyway,
then Triple H hit him with the, I never really liked him anyway.
Wow. Yeah.
Nigga broke my throne.
He broke the throne.
Oh man.
It was funny to talk about Cody today. It was like, how does he feel about this Triple H thing? And it's like, I don't know, man.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, like Triple H has absolutely been petty throughout his tenure in professional wrestling, but like, you think he's about to say, hey, let me throw Cody down the tubes and ruin him, like, on the precipice of the person that's probably been keeping him protected is probably Triple H. Vince was probably like, and then Triple H like, if we fuck him up, we can't get nobody to come over here, fool. Sit your old ass down. What was that? Nothing, sir. Oh, I thought I heard some bass in your voice. No, sir. Do you think Triple H ever looks Vince in the eyes?
I think he does by this point.
Now that he has the power.
Yeah.
He's leveled up.
Brewhaven saying, "Am I on the Jays wagon after that last series? I'm wearing a Blue Jays shirt. You know the deal, man. Dunedin Blue Jays right down the street from my house. This
yeah, they are.
I got this shirt from the shop there. Yeah. But
like anyone in the AL except for the Jays in the Yankees. Or sorry, except for the Rays and the Yankees.
Yeah, I got a Yankees hat right over there. Like,
That's
I had a Yankees hat forever.
The drip. You hate the Yankees. Don't even play with me.
I don't have a problem so much anymore. So
now that we're old.
Old.
The passion has died for baseball.
Now that we old, no, I'm getting back into it. But and I was watching some of those old documentaries. Man, I hated those motherfuckers, boy. I was watching some shit. Talking about it. I watched the 2004 MLB season review, right? And they was talking about the series in July, and when Veritek and A-Rod was running it, and I was like, man, I hated their ass. But
but Brewhaven, yeah, like we're so where we are, we're in Florida, we're like basically in the middle of all the spring training shit. Like Tampa has the Yankees, Dunedin has the Blue Jays, Clearwater has the Phillies. Like we're right in the heart of this shit. Like within a rock's throw. Like Sarasota, I think is the Mets. So like, and that's like what 45-minute drive away. Like we're right in the heart of the spring training facilities and all that shit. Like one of the major arteries in our traffic to get like to and from like on US 19. Like we go past like the Phillies facility. Like everywhere we go, out here. So yeah, it's some minor league baseball. Rich has been going lately. Like he goes out there and bakes in that sun and
it was so fucking hot yesterday. Oh my God. We went inside. Like
I didn't know there was inside.
Yeah, there's like a little bar area that has like see-through glass or whatever. So AC, know.
Let me tell you. Want to know the last time I went to a minor league baseball game was?
When?
I went with Zach Graysinger. And man, like, Pittsburgh, everything. Grew up in Pittsburgh. Like, so Steelers, Penguins, Pirates. And man, I went out there to Dunedin for a Jays and Pirates minor league game. Man, it's the first time my black ass ever got sunburned. Never again. It's like, what the fuck is this? What is this peeling shit? Is this what a sunburn is? Nah, bro. Nah, I know it's hot, but nah, man. Never again. Never again.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't tell you. Oh, little story. Speaking about baseball, I went to a batting cage on Saturday.
Like a recreational deal?
Yeah, kids go there on the way growing up, and they hit the ball, whatever. I went out there, right? Mm-hmm. I was like, man, I think I could hit the ball.
How'd that go?
It did not go well.
Yeah, that's the thing. You don't see the wind up; it just comes out,
bro. It fucks with you. So, all right, so it comes out. It was only coming out at 45 miles an hour,
but you don't see the wind up. It just comes out exactly.
And it's like, oh shit, and then I wasn't afraid of the ball or anything, but bro, I was swinging through everything, bitch. It was just like, I put it on. I think the original difficulty was like high school. I think they gave me like either like 80 pitches or some shit. I was batting like a whopping 0.077 and shit, like on the thing, because it has the joint that kind of tracks like how far you hit it or whatever, if you ground out. I was putting a little contact on it the second round, but it was like I was out there like Vlad Guerrero Sr., no gloves on you boys, and I was like, damn, my right hand hurts as I was like swinging through that bitch, and then I was like, oh well, if I'm gonna do this, I got to get some gloves or whatever. Yeah. No, I was not batting like Adam Dunn. I was batting like Ryan Howard. I was striking out.
Right. Yeah, left and right. But now, Adam Dunn struck out a whole lot too. It was feast or famine.
Yeah,
with him. Yeah.
So I scaled difficulty back a little bit, and then a couple of them I was actually able to like hit, and that was like, oh, that's how it's supposed to feel, because then I don't feel anything, but that's like when you make that perfect contact. But it was a nice little workout. Got a little sweat in. It was fun.
Yeah, that shit will jack up your hands. I never played youth baseball. I wish I had in retrospect, but
same.
It was
same.
It is what it is.
Yeah, man. But our for Dishonor. Let's get to it. So, you want to talk about the pre-show?
Roughly, I guess. Like, there was one match. I only watched two matches. I watched the the trios match that had Blake Christian and Deppin versus the goons Tully's goons. So with Brian Cage and Khan, and
there is something important to bring up about that.
So what happened?
So in the middle of the pre-show, Prince Nana emerges. Apparently this is a gentleman. He's a manager, a longtime manager. There's a group called the Embassy, Ring of Honor. Prince Nana is I believe a Nigerian prince, if I'm not mistaken. And
in kayfabe.
In kayfabe. Oh, and he basically bought Tully Blanchard Enterprises and gives an interview. So it's like, well, what's happening to Tully Blanchard? We kind of find out a day later that Tully is not long for the company right now. Either he's being sent home, or so they figure something else out for him, or there was a lot of this, and I think a lot of this is connected to the Gresham thing, which we're going to get to shortly. But all of a sudden, Tully Blanchard was not the manager. It's Prince Nana, and it's the Embassy. He's managing the big guys, and then he manages Jonathan Gresham in the opener.
Right.
And it's like, whoa, what the fuck? There was a trios match. It was Brian Cage, Khan, and
Samoan or Islander guy.
Toa Leone.
Yeah.
against Blake Christian, Tony Deppen, and Alex Zane. I thought it was a little slow to begin with, but I thought it picked up real nice at the end. Kind of enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. And then I mentioned, because I watched this today, and I mentioned that I enjoyed it, and Josh was like, no, you're wrong, James. And I was like, I enjoyed it. Like, the dudes were outnumbered. The small dudes are outnumbered. They start doing dives, and then they start getting knocked out the sky and swatted out by the big guys. Like, for opener, or not opener, for a pre-show match, it did what it was supposed to do. I thought it ended up being really good by the end. And he was like, nah. I was like, agree to disagree. He's like, we're agreed that you're wrong, James. I was like, all right, fine, bro. If you feel that vehement about this pre-show match, all right. And I'm probably putting some words in his mouth, but I was like, all right, man, like, I mentioned, like, he's in the middle of G1 season. He's probably, 5 shows in now at this point. Look, all that flying shit don't really go when people beating the shit out of each other for realsies, for the fake shit. So, yeah, I can see why he felt that way.
It also had Arya Daivari and Slim J over Cheeseburger and Eli Isom, just over 5 minutes. Of course, that Arya Daivari Slim J unit is going to be joined by Parker Boudreaux, and that's already in the can. That's going to be on Dark in the coming weeks or so. So they've got a unit called the Trust Busters. Colt Cabana beat Anthony Henry in 10 minutes, beat him with a moonsault off the top rope. Colt looked great in this match. So he's been exiled to ROH. And then Willow Nightingale and Allison Kay. This was not so great. I think DJ Screw was on the wheels for this one because it was very slow.
Willow was very over. And I've noticed this, like, that is true. I didn't even think about that, but like, I've noticed this, like, anytime she's on AEW television or she's in Ring On television that I've seen, she's over with this crowd. And like, I expect that, like, if and when she ever finally gets to Tokyo Joshi Pro, she will be over. So yeah, ain't too many of those right now, walking around. But this match, just there.
Yeah, it was a little rough. I think, as far as Willow goes, I think there's a lot of potential there. I think you should definitely, if you see people like her, there's something there, obviously, and then keep working there to make her game as well-rounded as possible, and then, get her in position to start, progressing. So, but
I mean, she's getting her reps on AEW, like I felt like she was like that missing third heat for like her and Statlander and Athena. Like when they were all three together, it was like, oh, okay, like they needed like the bubbly person to kind of like make their goofiness kind of like more to her the fact like it's amusing to like, okay, this is actually fun. That one backstage promo that they had. So like I actually like that trio's team right now.
Yeah, so always Death for Dishonor. We should go bottom to top. So we get the coin flip that puts the ROH world title on first. Jonathan Gresham defending the championship against Claudio Castagnoli. Gresham comes out and he's not wearing his mask. He's not wearing the flag. The flag that's not there. His normal entrance, and he has an all-time boo-boo face there going into this, and immediately just everything about this kind of just felt off to me. Match was the match. Like I thought it was like kind of just there. It was about a 10-minute match, maybe 11 minutes. Castagnoli puts him away. They do some, some nifty stuff that, but nothing that's like they don't set out to have no like great world title match or anything. This was like.
I thought
this was like a middle of the Dynamite style match. Like, oh, y'all got 10 minutes, go out there, and we want Castagnoli over very strong. And
I thought it was better than that, but not much better than that. I thought you were going to say that like Jonathan Gresham. Like I know people made the joke about like he just be running around working the arm, he trick y'all.
Yes.
I like the trickery. Like he does, like, in this match in particular, I don't think recall it as much in other matches I've seen from him, but like in this match in particular, he was doing a lot of like tricks, and it wasn't necessarily technical wrestling. It was like gamesmanship stuff. It was like shit that like William Regal will beat off to. in a crude way of saying it, that's the kind of stuff he lives for. So, yeah, like I thought it was a good match. And the right person won. Like, we talked about this as far as like, the right decision is Claudio, but like me, I'll kind of, agonize over the identity of this company with whatever else. But like, ultimately at the end, Tony Khan did the right thing and put the belt on Claudio. Yeah,
I think the whole thing with Claudio kind of felt like a little rushed, and it is almost like what does the ROH title really mean right now, especially with the way like Gresham kind of dropped it, the situation it was in. Then with Gresham requesting his release from AEW/ROH, supposedly there was a blow up. He cussed Tony Khan out. There was I think he had problems with his presentation. He had problems kind of with maybe where TK saw him in the grand, scheme of things. People are going to be upset. As far as like what I saw people, all of a sudden, Jonathan Gresham became a cause over the weekend that they were fighting for. They had to get the focus off of Friday's news somehow, but this was a,
So what actually? What is basically, you say that there was some blow up, but like what publicly happened to make this a thing? Because like it was a thing that I heard about before I didn't even watch the show, and it got to me. Was it just the regular discourse?
Yeah,
because everything is an indictment of AEW at L times.
He was done dirty. He was like he was a guy that was it was hard to really like decipher all the noise, because we were hearing like a lot of different stuff. I'm gonna try to pull up some of the stuff I was sending, but
Zach just said the next stop is the next stop CYN. Something tells me that him and CYN is not the greatest of fits.
Yeah, it's like
just a guess, wild guess.
Like if he stays in a place where he's not happy, and he just kind of goes around grumpy, and obviously the guy thinks very highly of himself, and MJ does PR that Russell Pierce interview he actually did with Backup Hangman, shout out to him, like the day before is pretty telling to see like the way he kind of like looks at wrestling, and he's trying to break a mold. Like he's been vocal about being a black wrestler that doesn't necessarily need any type of gimmick. Why can't he just be why can't he just be himself, like in a great technical wrestler? And
cool. I mean, I don't necessarily I get what he's getting at, and there's right about like a black wrestler or a wrestler. I'm not even going to get into like anything else, but like in terms of what he's talking about, he's absolutely right. I also think that like if you're going to be, if that's going to be your character and that's going to be your style and that's what you want to do and you're dead set on doing it, some adjustments have to be made for whatever venue you're in front of, or you're going to have some troubles at times. And like that is what working is, right? And like he even knows that. And we've seen him in Best Super Juniors, and like I think the stuff I've seen from him in Best Super Juniors like way outclassing the stuff I've ever seen him do in AEW Ring of Honor up to this point. So like yeah, like he clearly understands that, but like something is not clicking when he's in front of, and it's obviously has something to do with like the parameters of you're out there with Dalton Castle, who's had a fork stuck in his back since like 2018. As a better than just a good wrestler, and it's like it's really sick. It's like clearly the dude's talent. You see all the stuff he does in the ring, his talent, but like does it like compel you when you watch it? Like does it make your blood pump? Does it wow you? And it's like I think it impresses me, but it doesn't wow me. And like, I think that for a person like me that loves a lot of stuff, a lot of wrestlers that fit into that kind of phylum that he fits in, like, he kind of fits more of what I want to see in wrestling at times, or as far as want to see a variety of different types of styles of wrestling. I don't think for the average AEW viewer that kind of stuff necessarily resonates unless you mix it with some other stuff like intense striking, or, you know, maybe even some flying, or a faster pace or whatever else. So, I think that, like I said, like, it's working, and is working to the audience, and like, he knows this. It's just, it doesn't seem that like it's happening in like these most crucial moments, and it leaves you wondering like what's going on. Like, is this a mandate? Is this a you're pissed off? Is this what is it? So I think there's some questions to be asked, and I think that regardless of I think that in the future we'll get some answers on like what all this has been, because like, the second he showed up, he felt like a lame duck champion. Like he's coming out there standing next to Samoa Joe.
He was out of place.
Right, he's coming out there standing next to Samoa Joe, the TV champion. Is like
Samoa Joe was way more popular than him.
Right, and Samoa Joe just took the air out of the room, and it wasn't like he was doing it on purpose. Just like, Yeah, it was a rough spot. It's a rough spot all around. But I don't blame. But I get why I get his frustration, because like we were talking about it. I was talking about this before. Before this even happened, it was like, what is the reason to care about him when he's on AEW television? They haven't really done it. So yeah, like I see his frustration. So from what I can tell, I don't know if there's anything more from than what you said, but like from the information I know, it's a rough situation. Like both. Like, I can see why he feels frustrated. I think that's valid, and I don't really feel the need to defend Tony Khan in this situation, because, like, quite frankly, if I was in Tony Khan's situation, like, I'm putting the bill on Claudio, too.
And, like, I'm not too impressed by the guy, like, personally, like, that's not my flavor of, what he does. There's obviously there's a size component, I think, that's throwing a lot of people off, as far as, like, him being in the ring with Claudio looked crazy in some aspects.
Claudio did go out there looking like The Undertaker.
Yeah, like, I was like, hold on, am I watching Andre the Giant versus Coco Beware? Like, what is this? Like, I don't know, but, I'm looking at this guy, and I just got to let people know a superstar was not missed out on. A game-changing box office attraction was not missed out on. Like, let's keep it in perspective. Let's keep it real here. Like, this was not someone that was overflowing with star potential, like, to be like, oh, you can make a ton of money with this person. His performances have been just regular, good old 3-star specials since he's been in AEW, even on the ROH show with Bandito. Game is a game. Jonathan Gresham ain't better than Azumi. He ain't never been impressed me like that. Like, so it's like, Well,
Azumi might be the most fun person to watch in the world in right now. So I mean, or 2022. So yes, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I get it. Yes.
I want Jonathan Gresham to since everybody's saying he's the craze right now, and I just want everybody to enjoy Terminus. It's a good thing he started his own promotion so he can give us his vision of pro wrestling.
Yeah. With extra rules that Daniel Garcia talked about.
Ironically, if this was Japan, a lot of Japanese wrestlers started their own promotions. So, like, Emi Sakura gave us her vision of pro wrestling. Junichiro Tenryu gave us his version of pro wrestling with War and all that stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe Terminus, is the way. Maybe, the people will decide, But when I hear people talk about, he's like one of the 5 best technical wrestlers in the world and stuff, and I'm like, so? Like, I don't I don't care. Like it's a 2-hour show that comes on every week, and making room for, let's say the 4th or 5th best technical wrestler or whatever. I don't think that's a priority. Like that needs to be like, necessarily anyone else needs to be shoved out the way for this guy that shows up with the boo-boo face. When it's time for him to, hey man, the job, you need to go out there and lose. Like make this man look good.
Yeah. I think also is like the way people have the definition of what a technical wrestler is so freaking like narrow. Like, I'm sorry, like Kota Ibushi is an excellent like technical wrestler. Like, I'm sorry, like Pac is an excellent technical wrestler. Yes, there's a lot of flying involved in it, but like that's a part of technique. That's technique that other people that aren't being used in other people's games. And like just laying down, like I don't say laying down on the mat, but like just rolling on the mat or working holds or getting in and out of holds or doing nifty holds is not all of technical wrestling. It's a foundational part, but like there are so many elements in pro wrestling towards like I think that when we talk about that, like it's so narrow. It's like, yeah, sure. Bryan Danielson is one of the greatest technical wrestlers of all time, undisputed. You tell me whose job is harder, like doing all the shit he does or doing all the shit that, as we already mentioned, the fucking 19-year-old Wonder Kid Izumi does. That's fucking hard. That is fucking hard to be that smooth, doing all that shit that fast. Like, that's wizardry.
Like, I hate to say it, like, I think he's going to be, like, kind of a cautionary tale. Like, if he never makes it back to, like, a major league level, like AEW, ROH, or even WWE, right? Like,
he won't be hurting for work, I don't think.
Like, I think he'll catch on at, like, Impact. Like, I'm sure he'll still be booked, in different places and all that. But I think there's someone that is going to break that mold that he's trying to make. I just don't think it's him.
I mean, we see people break that mold all the time. Like people call him the Black Bryan Danielson for a reason. Like, Danielson was able to make all this shit work. Kyle O'Reilly is able to make all this shit work. Pete Dunne is able to make all this shit work. Johnny Gargano is able to make all this shit work. Like, so, when Sabre is able to make a lot of this shit work, right? So when it's just it's the same thing when people talked about Dean Malenko, right? It's like, yes, he's as a technical wrestler. Does he compel you in that way? For some, yes. For others, no. And like that's a big determinant on how people feel about people. Like, and like clearly the dude is skilled and all that kind of stuff. But like his vision for pro wrestling, that's what he wants to do. More power to him. Does that mean he's gonna like, main event a show with 20,000 people in it? Probably not. But most people aren't either. So, whatever. If he wants to, do his thing, let him do his thing. More power to him.
I'm sure the 100 people at Terminus will enjoy it just fine.
God damn it. I was trying to leave it off with that, and that was gonna be like a thing of. I thought I left it a nice, relatively positive, okay place, and then you got to get that last little,
Yeah. It is what it is. Some stories you just can't tell, but the ROH World 6-Man belts. This was Dalton Castle and the boys that have names now, Brandon and Brent, taking on the Righteous. This is my first time I can recall seeing the Righteous. I am familiar with Bateman. I've seen him on New Japan Strong. The Righteous, they look like some guys that you meet in like Walking Dead in season 8, and they have like a secret that you'll soon learn about. Like that's what these gentlemen look like.
What?
Yeah, like
a secret.
Yes, like they're like planning to eat you or something, or or something like that. But like they have like this back barn where they store, you know, zombies and shit. Like there's some type of secret they're withholding from you. They're dressed in all white, and I think one of the guys had dreadlocks. I was like, hold on.
Yes.
So
I saw the match graphic, and I was like, it's Dalton Castle, and it's the boys, and this is a white man with dreads, wearing all white. It looks like a cult. I was like, hey, Rich, can I skip this match? And you were like, yes. And I was like, thank you.
Don't really got too much for you guys on this one. Dalton Castle and the boys are over. They get the belts. So I think what people would want to ask coming out of this, hey, what's Dalton Castle's status? TK was kind of non-committal on that, but they are wearing the championship, so that's something. So it's like they'll be around at least a little bit more.
Now you have to remind me because I don't recall, but like when Dalton Castle wrestled with the boys before, did he just not have like his knockoff "I Want It All" music? Because he came out to different music. For the show.
I'm not sure.
Okay, I don't know if he had special Dalton and the boys music or not, but whatever. Like apparently, like those are the original The Boys, like the ones that people like. So that's good that they came back and made it work and it's Ring of Honor.
The ROH Pure title match.
Here we go.
Yuta, the biggest star in the business, taking on Daniel Garcia. Garcia comes out wearing the Bryan Danielson, William Regal colors. Yuta's out in some of the best gear that I've seen him in.
Yes.
They put up the pure rules. I immediately ignore everything because I refuse to memorize a Bible verse in order to enjoy a page of the Bible to enjoy some pro wrestling. So whatever. And seems like Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Garcia took the same strategy as me. And part of Garcia's pre-match promo was like, hey, man, I'm going to bring that belt back. We're going to destroy that shit. Who cares about that many rules? Who wants to to have more rules in wrestling anyway? Like, this is the rich ladder philosophy.
Right.
Like,
and it's funny that he says it because like he pulls up the terminus, and it's like they have those rules too. I wonder if he just pulls them and is like, I'm just gonna wrestle my match, bro. I ain't concerned about none of that, bro. Like,
terminus
Reebok's
also.
on, I just do it.
Memorize a page of the Bible.
Look, just so you know, I did not. Look, that's not my quote. Rick Ross said that. Reebok's on, I just do it. So anyway, I enjoyed the hell out of this match, and it started slow. I was like, when's it gonna pick up? And then it picked up, and then by the time they started hitting each other with them slaps and said, "Look, I understand that we can't throw closed fists, but I got this way around it. It's called slapping fire at you." And boy, that was fun. That was real fun.
This is excellent, and I don't know why anybody would ever want to see Daniel Garcia join the Blackpool Combat Club. Like Regal was saying on commentary, they need people to fight. And my God, Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Garcia, like, bro, when I was watching these guys, I was like, what if this is like Benoit and Malenko? Like, what if this is Eddie and Benoit, like, that we're getting to see in their formative years that are going to be career-long kind of, rivals? It's like, fuck, dude, like, why does Daniel Garcia need to be a young boy in that faction too? Like, no, man, like, let these dudes, like, continue. And they already have a legacy of matches coming into this. And one thing I think that kind of threw me off with the pure stuff is the time clock that was on there, and it was counting up. And I was like, I felt like it was kind of counterproductive because I feel like you want people to get lost in the match a little bit and not like worry about a clock, what they're seeing. But that was just me. And, luckily they only used one rope break in the match.
Right.
They
told a story
really
too during the match. Like, you have Regal on commentary, and I gotta say, Regal, during the show for the BCC. the BCC. That's the first time I fucked that one up.
British Broadcasting Company? Come on now.
Yeah. Turn on the radio and listen to people sing acapellas. Or covers. But anyway, like, I thought he was very good on commentary for the Claudio match. Like, obviously he's not perfect. He's over enthusiastic. He'll ramble, but like, you could tell he's having fun, and you could tell like he enjoys explaining the art of the violence. Like, he's good at describing why things hurt. Like when him and Caprice Coleman were talking about like cauliflower ears and like how bad they hurt, and when they turned black, I thought it felt like a blowtorch to your ears. Like, that's descriptive. I ain't never thought of no shit other than some horror movie shit where someone puts a blowtorch to your ear and let that thing hit you. Like, so yeah, Yeah, he was good for this, and he explained like we're not here for any rope breaks. We told you to like you got to get out this shit. Ain't no rope breaks.
That shit is soft. That shit is pie.
Yeah, like you got to get out. You got to get out the hole to tap. Period. Like be a man. Tap like be a man and tap as your arm is breaking. So I thought that was a nice script, and then like it was almost like in a way when you think of like strong style or like a Noah match where it's like we're hitting each other until the first person blinks and breaks, right? And like, we're going to put each other in holes, and the first person to grab that rope is going to lose. And sure enough, the first person that blinked and grabbed the rope lost. I thought it was a nice, like, moral of the story type of, poetic type of thing. So, I thought this was a great match. I really did.
Yeah, I went 4.25 on this one. Then we had, Brothers Face Off. Roosh took on Dragon Lee. Lucha Libre, and doing crazy shit. Dragon Lee, you don't ever got to worry about him taking no nights off. Roosh has been on his best behavior of late, and they actually have
money time. It's money time, Rich.
He's going to be facing John Moxley for the championship on Wednesday. So he's won. This is the storyline TK has said. He's won 10 matches in a row between AEW, ROH, and elsewhere. Mm-hmm. And he's going to be getting a title match. But this match was excellent as well. This was I don't believe this match was ever done before.
Yeah, that's what they said. They had never had a singles match before, which like I just could not believe.
Yeah.
But man, like I've missed Dragon Lee so much.
Can TK just like sign him?
Yes!
Like what are you waiting for? Like,
oh my God, I've missed him so much. Just relentless. Don't care, will do anything. When he hit that, like the second he set him up, like outside, he set Roosh up on the table. I was like, oh, I already know where this finna go. And then like the splat was like, it wasn't even like the normal one he does when he's basically just basically a human torpedo and torpedoes people like off, like over the top, of tables or barricades or whatever else. He just like, he basically like one man crashed a submarine into that table and broke it himself. And I was like, God, this dude, like, I got to see him in Derby at some point. That's, oh my God. But yeah, just
AKA
chops.
We go hard.
Yes, go hard. Just relentless chops. Obviously, different weight classes. Roosh's like exploiting that size difference. At the end, like getting the crowd into Dragon Lee's comeback, and then at the end, Lee seems to have the match won after a big move, and Roosh plays rope-a-dope like he's knocked out, and Dragon Lee, because he's actually a babyface, is like, is my brother okay? And that bought Roosh enough time to recuperate, and then he able getting Dragon Lee into the corner, and he hits Bulls of Corns, whatever his finish is, where he basically does a running double foot dive into the person that's seated in the corner and got the win. And I was like, I have really enjoyed these two Roosh matches we've seen on AEW, and or I can't remember how many matches he had, but like the one he had with Penta in this match. Like, and remember when we first came out, you were rightfully warning Finishell, like, he looks charismatic, looks the part, all that stuff. Do not fall for it. He can turn that motor off in a heartbeat. And I was like, he gonna try. Cause he knows this is money time. He gonna try. And sure enough, like, in a similar fashion when Jay Lethal showed up in AEW, it's like, they wrestling to prove a point right now. And, yeah, like Roosh has been great. Like he has a match with Moxley this week.
This week.
I'm with it. Like Moxley's another go hard. You gonna put him in there with another person that say, hey bro, we know how you get down. We ain't doing that here. No days off. Like you were putting on your boots to work.
So James Brown YL says, I ain't never see Roosh wrestle like this. If I was old ROH management, I would feel
furious.
Lotero Negro says, bright lights, Roosh. He's just like Carl Anderson doing that promo about Impact. He on his Carl Anderson run right now. Sir Sam says, speaking of Carl Anderson, reckon he tries to go back to WWE. I mean, the Good Brothers, they will be where the check be. Like, if we haven't learned anything about that, they everywhere the check be. So, Triple H did team up with the Good Brothers one time in Japan when I believe that was Triple H's last match or some shit like that.
It was in Sumo Hall, right?
Yeah, it was something.
They normally
like
do shows in Sumo Hall.
Yeah, so like, the doors open there for them. Hall and Nash, these boys, they've got connections everywhere. They can go to Japan. They'll stop off in Impact and just hang out to watch the rest of the world change around them to find their next move. Like, these boys, they can't miss. So after that, you'll have to take me through the next match, James, because I was like almost had or the next two matches because I almost had something to do that night. Okay, so the next match after this, like, I was like, after they had this barn burner of just big moves, big brother versus little brother in stature and size and age, and like that finish or whatever else, like, and all that loud striking and chopping or whatever else, they went out there and said, women of honor match. Mercedes Martinez versus Serena, and I thought that did them no favors, but this match was good. A lot of I did see this one. It was the next match I missed. Okay, yeah. This match was good. The crowd was still like coming down off of the high that is Peak Dragon Lee. So, like, it took them a while, and luckily they gave them enough time to where like they could work hard enough to get them into it, and by the time. Earlier in the match, they built towards Serena being up on the turnbuckle on top turnbuckle on the inside facing out, and Mercedes had got behind her and was trying to give her like the Daniel Bryan spider German suplex, and she wouldn't go for it. And by the time they got around to it the second time around, she gave it to her, and like I thought Mercedes did this great job of having the patience to wait for the sell where like you're exhausted and you're tired and you fire up to your at attention from being up almost like in a true world situation, and the crowd popped for it, and then they continued, and ultimately by the end at some point Mercedes hit a B driver. I popped and I forgot what she beat her with, but it was a big move, and at the end the crowd cheered for it, and like her and Serena hugged, and I'm assuming they have some history beyond just this wrestling storyline they've done, in their travels and through women's wrestling in Americas for the past 2 decades. But they broke kayfabe and they hugged, even though Serena turned on her a few weeks ago. But like it was a good match. So yeah, I thought it was a success because this is the best match I've seen Mercedes have like since the the second Mae Young Classic with Mako. It's been a minute, and like she's been in developmental hell and been through with the freaking fake Antifa thing and all that kind of stuff, and Xia Li busting her head at one time. So it was good to see her like have a good match after a while now. Yeah, and she was in Lowell, Massachusetts. That's kind of like, it's not that far from Connecticut, so she's like kind of local up there. So Serena had another, I don't know, somewhere between good to very good match. Like it was well wrestled regardless. I think maybe my opinion of it is based off like how the crowd reaction at first was maybe unfair, but another solid match to add to the match guide. Jay Lethal and Samoa Joe for the ROH World Television title match. Yes, I did see Samoa Joe's haircut in this, and somebody got a. He losing it, but he's always been losing it. The thing is, he kept it at a certain length to where like you couldn't really tell, but this time you could really tell. Like they have a man looking like Patches out there, like so you gotta figure that out. Figure out the new way, Joe. You pick up an Andy's T-liner. It's that simple. Or, or come home. Oster. I'm trying to think of the Clipper brands. Whatever. Just no guard. Just. Sir Sam, talk to Jericho. I don't know.
I don't know if you want to go through all that. I don't know.
That's a lot. That's a big commitment.
Yeah, that's a whole process. That's a whole process.
You can spend $59.99 and you know get it.
Yeah. So Lethal comes out first with Dutt and not with Dutt, but with Singh, and he's basically like
so
almost to
tall.
Yes, he is. He was damn near. Lethal was damn near like to the mat after its entrance, and then Joe's music hits, and then Lethal turns around like, this motherfucker won't even let me complete my entrance. They just meet in the middle of the aisleway, and they start brawling. They end up by the announced tables on the other side of the ring, and then because they're fighting, so the match hasn't started. So then Singh gets involved, and then by the time the match is about to get started, the ref tells Singh he has to leave. So, but you never see Dutt, so he's like, oh, Dutt's gonna come at some point. So, match going, throwing shots back and forth, dies from topes, three topes from Lethal in and out the ring. They back in the back of the ring. Joe gets the advantage, and then all of a sudden he hits his own big tope out to the floor. And then Joe seemingly is going to win the match, and then out comes Dutt to cheat. He runs distraction by bringing the lead pipe. The ref moves the lead pipe, and he's distracted by Dutt, and that gives Lethal the opportunity to grab the title and clock Joe for a near fall that the crowd bought. And then they continue back and forth, and ultimately, by the end, Joe ends up overcoming and winning. I thought it was a very good match. I wouldn't say it was great, but it was a very good match, and like Joe and Lethal in 2022. Go figure. Like it, obviously, if this match was a decade ago, it'd be a killer match, or but. Either way, it was still another very good match, and this match was better than the Adam Cole match from the Owen Hart final. Definitely.
Man, Jay Lethal.
Yep.
It's almost like your boys told you.
Yeah.
The respect tour continues.
Yeah. And I gotta say, I enjoy the hell out of how annoying Sanjay Dutt is. Oh yeah, bruh. The color, he had, not only does he have the pencil in his ear, the pencil is colored. Like you get a pack of, Crayola colored pencils.
Yeah.
Yeah. He gets one, and he gets whichever one matches his suit. He's so fucking annoying. And he can talk his ass off, so he can't never shut up, and he's small. He's a perfect heel. He's a perfect heel manager.
Bro, I like this unit because
I do.
Like Sanjay or fucking Satnam Singh is bro, when he's standing outside the ring, his head is almost up there with the top rope and shit.
I got
bro,
also.
It's so funny, bro.
When they threw him out, when the ref threw him out, you gave him mutter, that's bullshit. I fucking howled. He yelled it twice. I howled because I was like, is he? Because with the accent, the Punjab accent is fucking great. I don't know if he's doing this on purpose, if he realized it would this little trio right here. I like that. I really do. Just protect Singh, because I don't think he's ready for that. He's clearly, they only let him do but so much. But Lethal with heaters, it works.
Diogo says, I think that to maximize Samoa Joe right now, his matches need to be 10 to 12 minutes, strong style matches.
Oh yeah, that's been the case for years at this point.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. I absolutely agree with that.
Similar to the Suzuki match where the aura and the hard strikes carry the aura.
Just throw chops, be charismatic, and have great facials, and then go to the finish. Yeah. Or fight, Kyle O'Reilly, but there's only so many Kyle O'Reillys.
Sir Sam says the Elite versus this trio.
What?
The Young Bucks trying to super kick Satnam Singh, but hitting him in the waist.
They would have Kenny Omega throw him to the corner, and they're on the second rope, and they throw super kicks. They would come up with some convoluted way to or contrived way to super kick him. Yeah, it'd be funny.
Then we got the main event. 2 out of 3 falls. ROH.
No. I'm sorry. I gotta cut you off. I came up with the one. They get the match ends up outside the ring. He's on the floor. They super kick him while they're both on the apron. That's how they do it. That's how they do it. That's how they super kick Singh. That's how they do it. That's how they get Sodom Singh. That's how they get him right there.
I would love to see Kenny do a V trigger off the top rope. Like, that would be. He'll have those fresh, the fresh surgically repaired body. You can put that to the test. Because part of my part time is like figuring out ways for like in matches for Kenny Omega to hit a random V, like an elaborate, overly complicated V trigger on somebody in a makeshift way. So like, yeah, that's right up my alley. Like, yeah, get this man a ladder and let him come off with a V trigger off the ladder. I don't know if it was Sam that I was talking with the other day. He was talking about the prospects of, he was like, does anybody ever think about Paul White versus Kenny Omega? And like, I told him, I was like, yes, I have thought about this match before. I was like, and I think, if Paul White's in, and got his working shoes on that day, I think Kenny could get him to 4 stars just off of like,
And at this stage?
I think he can do it. Because the second that Kenny Omega launches for a V-trigger and then catches a WMD to the knee, I'm going to fucking die laughing. I'm going to give that shit 3 stars immediately. Like, that shit bumps it right there. Like, so okay, I see that they say I see Sam said that, like, they can launch Kenny to do a V-trigger. Like, what kind of launch? Do you mean like the Mayu Iwatani rocket thing or whatever else where like he was running from one corner to the other and then like they kind of like catapult and propel him? Like, exactly. Yes. MJ does PR. Can Paul take a Snapdragon? Yes.
The thing is, like, the position he has to get into to actually, for like Kenny to be at a stable base to then hook the arms and then do it. I don't know, bruh. I don't know. That might be that. Yeah, I don't know.
Can you take the one wing angel? We will see.
Look, tell them somebody to run that on Fire Pro, and we'll see how that goes. Yeah. How about that?
Then we had our main event, the ROH World Tag Team titles. Best 2 out of 3 falls. FTR defending against the Briscoes. This match was a long match. And it was like, I really, really liked their first match that they had at Supercard of Honor. I don't think this match was in that match's league, personally.
What you mean? This is the 73rd greatest match of all time according to Cage Match.
That might be the single most offensive rating I think I've ever seen in the history of like me ever using Cage Match. Like,
I've look, man.
9.55 for this.
Yeah, look, man.
Like it's Okada Omega or something, or a G1 final. Like,
Rich.
No,
look, you. I'm not gonna bring it up, but you know what I've seen. So like, I can't just outright just say you're right. I've seen some terrible overratings, and I've seen some terrible underratings on Cage Match. Like, our Joshi brothers, sisters, and siblings are like out of their minds. Like, they are the people that will say, "Hey, this match has a very low rating, so I'll give it a 10." And then there are also people to say, "This match by 50 people out of the 55 people that have voted has a 9. I'm gonna give this shit a 3 because I disagree." And they'll say in the comments when they have to explain it, they'll be like, "Yeah, I disagree, so I'm giving it a 3." And then like people have to like, and then like because Joshi, like, there's only so many votes, so like it's more skewed to like fuck up a rating, right? Like, so yeah, I've seen some terrible ones, Rich. So I can't,
like
but
bro, like
I like the match more than you do, so maybe that also plays a part of it. But I do think it is vastly overrated. Yes,
I gave this match 4 stars, and
I gave it 4.5.
And I'll tell you guys why. I thought the first 20 minutes of this thing was a snore job. I felt like it was not wrestled with half the intensity that first match was wrestled with.
Nor the last 20 minutes of this match.
And then, it picked up towards the end. They did, like, they fucked some stuff up. Like, let's not run from that.
At the end, yeah. That when they were trying to give each other the vertical suplex where they both stay connected and they end up on the floor and they end up, I don't know what happened, but like they end up basically like giving each other a simultaneous brain buster on the ring. Or sorry, in the inside the ring, and then they rolled out to the floor. Yeah. But don't get me wrong, that one, even that one botch, like there was still stuff with the story that I thought was just like not preposterous but annoying. Like I don't need Dax to sell after chop and shout each other. I don't need him to further sell it by blading his chest to sell the chops. Like we can see it on your skin, we can see it on your partner's skin. Like, and we also know what chops, what like opened up blood vessels look like from chops. Like, you ain't have none of the markings, bro. And then like later in the match, you can see like the cut wounds from when he, nicked himself, and it's like, bro, this is ridiculous. And then,
I didn't like the ref bump.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was when I was like, I can't believe, but like, I'm with you. Like the first 20 minutes I'm watching, I was like, yo, or actually no, the first 5 minutes the way it was wrestling, I actually messaged y'all. I was like, this shit's going like 45, 50 minutes, isn't it? And sure enough,
I thought this was kind of long for the sake of being long.
That's what
personally,
it was. They were trying to use length to carry them past whatever they thought the peak was of their first match. I haven't seen the first match. Like y'all have told me like that first match smokes this one. So I still have it. I just haven't gone around to watch it. I was going to get around to watch it, but then I got behind because I always get behind because it's too much wrestling. But yeah, I thought this was a great match. I was impressed by some of the subtle storytelling beats, even though some of that stuff did annoy me, like I mentioned already. But I thought that I thought it was a rock solid match of just guys, clobbering each other and each other with moves and whatever else. And like, do I think this is like an all time great FTR match? I do not. Like, I think that their second match with the Bucks this year smokes this. And I think that like both of the takeovers in 2016 against DIY smoke this easily.
Yeah, this was like the Sam is naming different matches that are ranked lower than this one. Yeah. So let's go through.
WrestleMania 25, Undertaker Shawn, I think is ranked lower too.
Kenny Omega and Tetsuya Naito from G1 2018 that has the same rating as this. AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura from Wrestle Kingdom is lower.
Right.
Hangman Danielson draw is lower. The Hangman Danielson draw is better than this.
Easily. Both of them Danielson page match are better than this, yeah. And they both went, you can't say, well, you're just, it's too long for you. It's like, no. One went an hour, 145 or whatever minutes, both of those smoked this. Chi-Town Flair Steamboat is lower than this. It's rated Rich. You know what? Scroll towards the end of the hundreds and see what is you know which match I'm talking about already. That it is rated above.
Hold on. Match guide. Let's see. It's gonna take me a second here.
If you want me to just tell you then?
Hold on, I'll find it. You said match number 100?
No. It's towards the end of the top 100 of all time. You'll see.
Shuri and Utami
is rated higher than that. Rich.
Not
a fucking chance.
Like Martin Luther King said, a lie was told today.
Yeah, man. Like
Shingo Takagi and Tomohiro Ishii.
Right. From the 2019 G1?
Yes.
Not a fucking chance.
We have to stop lying about FTR. Please stop falling. Oh, also he did like a fake injury.
Is this match?
And it plays into the thing, like the fake injury thing. Like people were thinking Dax was injured in the beginning. I was like, stop falling for this. Like this is his new thing. He acts like he's injured.
Yeah, I never for a second thought that he was injured, like in a way to where it's like, was it a few weeks or the last pay-per-view when he from Forbidden Door when he walked away or whatever else, and it's like, no, he's fine. I was like, he's fine. Like I thought at times he did a really good job of selling the neck and shoulder damage throughout the match, But like at no point did I think, oh, this guy's really injured or how do I say this? Injured beyond what he came into from, before the match started.
Yeah, man. I think it's just part of the campaign that's going on this year. So like, people are going to try to wheel these boys across the finish line.
The second Bucks match that they had this year from, what was it, March? Smoked this. Or was it March?
April.
That's right. Yeah, that's the FTR match, or even the one that y'all said would happen with the Briscoes early this year. From what I hear, like those two matches smoked this match.
Yeah, I'm just looking at 74 through 100 on this. I can tell you number 74, Kenta Kobashi versus Steve Williams. This is not better than Kenta Kobashi versus Steve Williams. But, so fun days. For if you got the FTR agenda, this is a good night for you. I think a lot of people, they were very impressed with this match. I thought it was a good match. I definitely think towards the end, like it got way better. And they, like when they did that outside bump through the table, I was like, that shit's crazy. Yeah. It was like I don't know, I thought back suplex or something.
Yeah, it was a back suplex, and like the Briscoe, like he got the arm up, but it's like from that height with that little ass flimsy ass table, like that obviously it is better than nothing, but not much better than nothing.
Yeah. The finish was crazy, like the second rope pile driver. I haven't seen one of those since like obviously MJF and Sammy Guevara did like
when they kicked out of that bitch, and I said that was fucking stupid that they kicked out of that, and they did the right thing. That's the end of the match. I'm sorry, he smoked that man.
Like they did the tombstone. The last one I saw like this was like Naito and Kota Ibushi in the first day of the 2017 G1, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And that was the finish, and it kind of, I didn't expect it to be the finish, but it was, and I was like, oh, that was cool. And FTR retains, and then at the end, Wheeler Yuta and Claudio Castagnoli come out, kind of stare those guys down. So maybe they're going into some type of program there for all the belts and everything. So, that was ROH Death for Dishonor. I thought it was a good show. I didn't think it was like great. But it was pretty good. Like
I thought it was a great show. Like I enjoyed the main event. I thought I gave it 4.5, like I mentioned. The Pure Rules match I thought was great. The Dragon Lee match I think it's 4.5. And, obviously I missed out on the trios match with Don Castle. Maybe that's skewing my opinion, but like it's at worst a kick-ass show, and maybe it's great. So I thought, it's in that, it's damn near an 8 on Cage match if I had to vote for
it. This is funny. So there is a tweet that was shared in the comments here. It was actually a tweet that was sent out by Rossi Ogawa. James, I'd like you to find that and click on it.
Oh, God.
Because I'm looking at it and I am dying laughing that he reposted it.
Is it him in the casket?
No.
Okay. Yes, he was in a casket at the end of the show. All right, let's see. I mean, bitch, it's him and Tony Khan every year at this point. So yeah, why not? Let's see what this says. All right. So it's Rossi Ogawa, and like in the pictures that y'all have seen the last 2 or 3 years of Tony Khan winning Wrestling Observer Newsletters, Booker and Promoter of the Year. Like this has been his running gag, and I have this in my phone. Like I even have the one with Nanai in this too. When she was still running Seedling, of like same graphic, they take out Tony Khan, they add in Rossi Ogawa, they put a picture of Rossi Ogawa from like in that white suit he was wearing from his Budokan Hall show from last year. So yeah, like I guess he finally came across it a year late, but he says this is an unofficial image made by an American fan. Whatever it is, what is evaluated in part is also the evaluation of Stardom. Like yeah, like Rossi Ogawa, by the end of this year, given the way this year is gone, is going to pick up his second Best Promoter, Best Booker award behind Tony Khan. So yeah, like, yeah, you should have a right to, or you should feel however he wants to feel to puff his chest out.
That's just funny.
And it's fucking hilarious that, like, this has gotten to him because, like, you know, he's so stoic. He'll see people get dropped in their heads. He don't budge. He'll see people get, you know, punched in the face. That happened in the Shuri and Tam match that we saw last night, or from Sunday. He won't move, and he'll tweet about, like, the fierce battle in the competition all the time. He's unmoving, but then, like, at the same time, like, I think it's an age thing, but, like, at the same time, like, I'll see, like, old clips of him from the old Joshi stuff, and he's getting the heat as a manager and shit, interfering in matches and dressing up crazy. And then you'll see him, like, with Starlight Kid, and, like, he'll put on, like, the Starlight Kid mask that Starlight Kid made for him. It, like, he's a character, man. He's a true character. So, like, I bet he chuckled at this and said, let's put this up. Yeah, but, where were we?
5X480. Dayton B100 V-Belt, one of the many parts Grainger carries. It's also the item that helped Rob carry the day. The job was on hold, deadline fast approaching, but a quick search on Grainger.com and Rob found his part. And with same-day pickup at his local branch, he and his crew got the job done, safely and on time. Get supplies and solutions for every industry with real-time product availability. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $700 on average, and those savings add up. Imagine what you could buy in the future.
Hey, remember how 20 years ago I switched to Progressive? Well, now it's the future, and I used all those savings to buy this new hologram phone. Because, you know, it's the future, and everything is holograms now.
So switch to Progressive and save big, because those savings can add up in the future. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National annual average insurance savings by new customer surveyed who saved with Progressive in 2020. Potential savings will vary.
AEW Dynamite. Okay. Fyter Fest, week 2. We are, I don't know how we're doing on time, but we're going to try to get through this. So yeah, we opened with Brody King taking on Darby Allin. And this is a pretty good match.
I love this match off the start. Oh my God. Like, Darby is, when we talk about technical wrestling, he's another great technical wrestler. The person also is great at psychology and understands his size compared to monsters, how to put them over. Like, he's great wrestling big dudes. And because he bumps like crazy for him, he makes these people like monsters. Like, all the stuff, or not all the stuff, but like the good deal of the stuff I had complaints about Moxley eating up Brody King, was it 2 weeks ago? Mm-hmm. Like, Darby said, like, I'm going to make people just forget about that. Like, Brody's a monster again. You can hear him roar. And Darby, this match was awesome. Like, him and Natsupoi fighting to the bitter end until they're dead. And you got to kill him to beat him. And look, people are willing to oblige that. You want to die so bad, I'll put you in a coffin.
Brody did hit the Gonzo bomb for the win. Murder. I just miss when Darby used to win, but, you know, it's just me.
I don't think it's over.
So after the match, they baited Sting out because, you know, Sting came out, rushed the ring. He was going to give Brody King the Scorpion Death Drop, but then the lights went out and Sting was face to face with Malachi Black. So yeah. I guess this is the Undertaker Sting thing we never got to see.
God damn it. I didn't even think about it, but I was thinking tag match, but yeah.
Then Brody King grabbed him and Aleister Black shot Sting with the Black Mist. So, you know, having flashbacks of the Great Muta. And, you know, Sting passed out essentially, and then that brought out Miro. Miro kind of had some covering, looks like underneath his glasses, and he's just stopped. And then there was like this invisible fence, and he just stared him down, and nothing happened.
It was like, I'm going to come out here and I'm going to stop Darby from getting murdered, but I will not like intervene physically. And like, I still have smoke with. Because he had actually underneath the eye, the glasses, he had like an eye patch on one of the eyes from. I'm guessing he's selling, the misting. So I don't know if it was like a I'm a babyface, but me and Darby, I'm a babyface, so I'll make the save for the babyface, but like me and Darby still aren't cool because like I brutalized him and I took advantage of him to take his TNT title away. Like I didn't forget that, but I'll do this thing for him to save I'll spare his life, but I won't be nice about it. I don't know. But I want to see Miro and Malachi get in the ring. The sooner the better.
So after that, we had Cole Carter, former Two Dimes in NXT, former AEW Dark wrestler last year, is back. And basically, Starks brought up, last time we saw you was sleeping with the fishes on NXT. But Carter said he was going to win the FTW title tonight. This guy's a young guy, good look, well put together, and they're giving him another run here. So after that, William Regal and Orange Cassidy both joined commentary, and Regal was kind of tickled at Orange Cassidy.
Yes.
We had the Blackpool Combat Club, Jonathan Moxley and Wheeler Yuta, the biggest star in the business, took on Trent Beretta and Chuck Taylor, and this was an excellent match.
Yeah. Physical, hard-hitting, simple storytelling, easy to follow based off of what they've done leading up to Yuta's defection to the Blackpool Combat Club. I'm just going to call it the Blackpool Combat Club. I'm not going to do the acronym for now. I'm not going to do that. But yeah, I thought this was a damn good match, and like Trent and Moxie were great together, and Yuta and like Trent, and like the basic thing of like Trent never liked this man. And like he in a way, like when he first showed up, she came back after the next thing, was like, I don't like you. It's almost like you trying to replace me. And then like Chucky T was like, this is a friend. And like you just taking advantage of that. And like that's only making Trent more mad. And that caused him to get beat on. And then like eventually like Chuck realized like this ain't necessarily like he may be your friend, but he's being a dick right now. So you need to like let him know disrespect will not be tolerated. And Chuck got into it and progressively kept getting better. It was like a good way of like having friends that want to do a simple competition turn into like, fuck that, I'm frustrated, I'm in the heat of battle, and I'm willing to bust your head indiscriminately. So I really enjoyed it. And then at the end, when Chucky T gets in, stick up for himself against Yuta, like he gets put away with his own, Milano or Mina Glamorous collection pinfall. And I was like, in the way that Orange Cassidy didn't say a word throughout that whole entire commentary thing. And then like he's like, everyone's talking about like this evolution of Yuta and all this stuff, and then he gets beat with a Chucky T move, and he goes, Chucky taught him that, and walked off. I was like, this is good. This is really good.
Yeah, I thought this was just like this is a mad. Like people talk about character performances, right?
This is the good way.
This is the good stuff right here, because a lot of this stuff was subtle.
Yes,
and it was like Chucky just like looking at them, and like I think Chuck was kind of pissed off during this match too, and
he got there once Yuta was stiffing him.
He awful waffled Moxley at one point.
Yep.
And this was just like it went about 11 minutes, but this was a hell of a match. Like, and no one's gonna talk about this like come match of the year time,
or even in 2 weeks.
It's not gonna be like, you may not talk about this like 2-3 months from now, but like while we're in this moment right now, I think people should really like, I don't say go out of your way to, like, if you didn't see this, definitely go out of your way to watch it. If you saw it once, I would recommend rewatching it again, because like it just felt like this mini story within a story that was going on here.
Yeah. Like Yuta and like this was like textbook nonverbal communication or storytelling in a way. Like this was very good of getting the point across of the tension and where it stands and like where this is going to progress. Like this is not over. And like as Black Saber says, like when this Trent Yuta match happens, people are going to care. This is very good.
After that, we got Swerve and Our Glorious AEW World Tag Team Championship celebration. So I feel like these type of segments were made for One Nation Radio. Like there was a void that needed to be filled, and to kind of talk about these things, and here we are. So Tony Schiavone was in the ring. He introduced Swerve and Lee. Swerve pointed out that Kevin Gates was in the audience. They were in Duluth, so we started in Georgia, right down the road from Atlanta. So Kevin Gates is there. I was like, what is Kevin Gates doing there? I was not privy to any of this.
I was like, who allowed him into the building?
And then Keith Lee kind of thanked the fans for helping them reach the point they're at. Anyone who wants to challenge them, they're going to have to reach high. He called for a toast. All of a sudden, Mark Sterling and Tony Nese showed up. Of course, we've seen Sterling the last couple of weeks doing the People Against Swerve Strickland. What the fuck is it called? Like petition. Yeah, it's trying to get people to sign, and people like Ricky Starks, Powerhouse Hobbs have signed it.
Haters, regular
various
haters.
other haters. Have signed this. And then Sterling basically said, he was like, all right, we need one more signature, and I want it to be you, Kevin Gates. He was like, at first I thought you were Young MA. He said that. I was like, who told him to say that? Like,
right.
But Mark Sterling, once again, excellent. Look,
yeah, and you knew where this was going the second you saw that cake, and then he came out and he was like, oh my God. I was like, wow. So like they have been setting up for this moment with this cake for like 2 or 3 weeks. I was like, this is a nice touch. This is a really nice touch. Now let's get to the Tony Nese and Kevin Gates interactions.
Yes,
let's get to that.
Gates refuses to sign the deal. All of a sudden, he's over the barricade somehow. I don't know what happens, but Sterling says Gates' music sucks. Kevin Gates got in his face. Tony Nese stepped up. Now, Tony Nese comes out here. This man has no shirt on, of course, right, because he's Tony Nese. A chain, and then like just jeans, like light blue jeans or whatever. And this man, Kevin Gates, grabs the chain, yanks him in, punches him in the face, and then Nese goes flying, and then all of a sudden Swerve threw the cake at him. I think a lot of people did not like this segment, but I don't give a fuck because I did. Y'all just gonna had to let us have this because I thought it was awesome seeing like the kind of rapper that Kevin Gates is and his status right now and everything. It's like he's not super poppy, like it's bringing Flo Rida in, and he's like current where he's not like, Snoop Dogg's here or something like that. Right. It's like, why is Kevin Gates here? Like that. And I kind of appreciated that being on the show. And I was even I was laughing when I was hearing people Google Kevin Gates and they were finding out things about
all the things that we were talking about him like 5, 6, 7 years ago. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And I was getting a lot of funny tweets that said they hope Kevin Gates does not see the baddies. They got to keep him 50 feet away, or else Dynamite would be taken off the air.
Which goes back to me saying at originally when I first saw him, who let this man into the building?
Kevin Gates is a viral machine. All this stuff went viral.
Don't I know it? Hold on. If I remember correctly, if I go to my YouTube, or not my YouTube, I don't have a YouTube page, but if I go to, actually I do. It doesn't matter. It's not important. If I go to my Twitter, I remember making a video of, because Hiroshi Tanahashi had made a shirt that said "Never Tired." I had made a video from one of Tanahashi's entrances, and over the top of it, I put in Gates, I don't get tired. And I had now have
Kevin Gates was a couple weeks late. He could have been there with Tanahashi, and we could have really had,
the true cultural exchange.
The true cultural exchange, like look, never tired meets I don't get tired.
Yeah. It's some of the things I think about that go in my head, like the idea of Kevin Gates and Tanahashi being on a wrestling show, like that is One Nation Radio, right there.
Say no more. But
found it. Where do I send this for the people to see?
Just drop it in the comments.
Okay.
If y'all want to check that out. But they had Silver and Reynolds backstage, as well as Butcher and the Blade. Silver presented Butcher with a Butch t-shirt, which Butcher and the Blade did not think were funny, so they whooped his ass, pretty much. And Hangman ran them off, and that kind of set up a match. Hangman Page and John Silver against Butcher and the Blade for Rampage. So, Hangman Page breaking up fights in the back. So, Christian Cage and Luchasaurus took on the Varsity Blondes. This was billed as Christian Cage and Luchasaurus, but this was just Luchasaurus whooping these boys.
Yeah, this was MJF and Wardlow versus some geeks.
Yeah, so he fucked Griff and Pillman up, and then Christian tagged it in just for the cover.
Okay, you went to say they fucked him up, but like you stopped and said they fucked, and then you paused and said fucked again. I was like, wait, what? They did. I didn't see that. I don't recall seeing that. What? Whose notes is these?
I can't stumble over my words no more. But
no, I'm just saying like I was like it's I wouldn't expect that one, but yeah, so I'm sorry for derailing for the progress, but yeah, I just wow.
So Christian is on top of
shit.
Man, all this shit sound fucked up when you think about it. But
I mean, it's pro wrestling, like yeah.
Christian. So I'm just saying, he wrapped his legs around
Thug it out.
Luchasaurus' neck and sat on top of his shoulders with his pelvic region in the back of his neck, and held his arms, above his head and was posing while this man just held his thighs like on top, to hold him in place, just so he didn't fall. And then all of a sudden, the Jungle Boy's music hits, and we haven't seen Jungle Boy in a month, and it was like, thank God, because I was like, Jesus, like when was the Jungle Boy gonna come back?
When will the rain end?
Comes out with a chair in hand, faces off with Luchasaurus, finally going eye to eye, face to face with this guy after a month. Luchasaurus has been beating the shit out of like everybody under this brainwash or delusion kind of by Christian. And then all of a sudden, they're face to face, and it's like, well, what you want to do? That's what Jungle Boy kind of looked at him like, and then Luchasaurus kind of just he softened at the moment of truth.
And the moment of truth shows his real friend.
I like this. A lot of people didn't like this.
I did. Look, but much Oscarosaurus, very much like Natsupoi. Who's ever going to make that comparison?
Exclusive audio on One Nation Radio.
Yeah.
Christian is in disbelief that this man he was just on top of no longer cared about him. And the Jungle Boy went chasing after Christian, and Christian ran his way all up the concourse.
He ran about the rucker. It was hilarious.
Yeah, so he was running like Jim Jones. And said rucker.
Right. YouTube it.
Yep. So after that, I guess we should talk about this. So it kind of sets up Jungle Boy and Christian, whichever way that goes off. Looking forward to it. They've been building this up for like a year. So ever since they were the last two in that battle royal, you can trace it back. So this is really cool, and we'll see which way this goes, if it results in some no DQ match or whatever they want to do with it.
Do you think they can get away with holding it off for All Out, or does it have to be on a TV show in the next couple weeks?
They can do it at All Out.
Okay.
waited this long. Shit, like
Yeah.
the Gun Club were backstage, and he said he wanted.
Christian was the one who got worked.
Yep. Who knew? So the Gun Club was backstage. They declined Acclaim's match last week. Austin Gunn said he wanted to battle Max Caster one-on-one in a rap battle. Did you watch this?
Did I watch Rampage?
Or did you see this rap battle?
Yeah, I watched Rampage. I saw it. Yeah.
Okay,
I saw it today. Actually, I watched that before I ended up watching Death Before Dishonor. Yeah.
Okay, because I don't know, like we haven't talked about it or whatever, but we will.
I don't understand why it's so hard to stay on beat even with no beat. I know with the mic and they don't have an earpiece in. I know it's harder than it looks, but I was just like, boy, wow.
Okay, so fuck it. I might as well ask you. So I got a text from a buddy of ours who was like, "Yo, Austin Gunn killed him," and I was like, "I didn't think so." But then
it was more competitive than I thought it would be for geeks that are for people that are playing geeks. I'll put it that way. It was a lot more competitive than it should have been.
Like when I was watching it, from my experience, I felt like they both came with one verse each that they may have had like 8 lines memorized for. After that, they were freestyling. They were going back and forth, and not necessarily like doing it well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like but they were doing it like, and then like Caster at the end, I felt like he had the better energy, and and then it was Austin's job to kind of lose. But I think for like, if you didn't know Austin Gunn rapped, you were probably a lot more impressed with him. Like hold on, he can rap. Like, but if you actually expected something of him, you were like, oh, like it wasn't that great. But like I would say Caster won, but I don't know.
I mean, Caster won because he was built to win.
Yeah,
that's part of the work.
I'm looking at the shoot element of it.
I'm dubious of how much of a shoot it was.
Mm-hmm. No. I mean, just from a real perspective or whatever. Like,
right,
all right.
You're talking about bar for bar, right?
Yeah, just like, all right,
I think it was designed for him. Energy? I think it was designed for Caster to have better bars. What I will say is, I was surprised that it was more competitive than I thought. Like this, okay, it's not nearly as good, but if you were to compare it to the Usos New Day rap battle from 2017 on SmackDown, like, it is very much in that vein of they're going back and forth, and at the end, like, there's going to be a line or a number of lines to be said, or you just can't recover from that, right? And that's the end. And, like, they, the whole thing was set up for the end to be, 8 Mile and Mom Spaghetti. It's just, you choked.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I thought that it did what it was supposed to do. I was just surprised that, like, I didn't feel like it was, Austin came with more than, Max Caster expected. I thought that, like, they were working in tandem. I thought at times it felt like it was broken down at times. But I don't know. But I thought it did what it was supposed to do. In general, compared to other rap things we've seen, and
not touching the Cypher at all.
Not even in the same. We're not even in the same universe, let alone galaxy, let alone planets. Like, nah, man, like that thing is a work of art. The Cypher from Swerve and B-Fab and Adonis and
Top Dollar.
And Top Dollar. Yeah, that thing is like one of the greatest like talking segments in the history of American professional wrestling. Yeah, like so. But yeah, like I thought it worked with the crowd. And the whole time I was sitting there cringing, I was like,
it feels like it's gonna go too far at any second.
Yeah. And then they were having trouble like staying on beat with like their cadences as they're rapping. I was like, is it the earpiece? There's a delay from hearing themselves talk. Like I thought, the whole time I was thinking like, oh, this is gonna fall off the rails, and they were able to land, keep it in the road. That's the way to say it. They were able to keep it on the road. So from that perspective, it was a success.
So FTW Championship, Ricky Starks and Cole Carter. This went about 6 minutes. They kind of had it back and forth, but Ricky was very popular with the crowd here.
One last thing. Back to the battle rap. When Caster kept saying that he is anti-gun, the crowd was definitely not rocking with that.
Oh, in Georgia? Yeah.
And it was, I mean, anywhere. But, like, him saying that, it was like, that's probably why it's more competitive than it should have otherwise been, because he's not playing to the crowd.
Usually he is.
Keep them bars. I understand that, like, you know, kids are getting shot down, you know, every month in this stupid country, but still, like, they wasn't rocking with that one. Like, you know, you're just talking about Gresham, and he got to work to the crowd. You got to work to your audience, MC.
Yeah.
Leave that bar out. Say that for a different crowd.
Like, there's a lot of different ways you could go with the gun name to diss them with. Pick any of the other ones. But after that, it was saying Starks and Cole Carter. Cole Carter looked like an inexperienced guy, very young. I say keep him on AEW Dark, just see, you know, what you got with him. But, like, he's nowhere near, like he shouldn't be, like, eating television time, like, or anything like that. It's just like someone for Ricky Starks to beat. This was a lot of debate around this match, you know, from Cole Carter and being from NXT, but he was actually from AEW before, so that kind of made it weird. And people were like, yo, you know, there's tons of guys that could have, you know, had this match, but I think at the end of the day, this is about facilitating Ricky Starks to end up as a babyface, and he was clearly getting cheered here. So there's, like, elements of, like, you know, if you come directly off NXT 2.0, you're going to get fucking booed, like, in there, like, against somebody. But Starks got the win. He said he had more in the tank. He welcomed another challenge. Danhausen came out and accepted Starks, then imitated Danhausen, showed some funny charisma, I thought.
It was like some rock shit.
Yep.
It was like him making fun of, like, Big Show. Except less, you know. But he was like, Danhausen. Crowd pop is funny.
Yeah. Stark said it's not going to happen tonight. They can still watch it. It's going to happen next week. So I assume this is how we get Hook interacting back with Ricky Starks. So
I didn't think about that, but that makes sense. Yeah.
So Statlander, Athena, Willow are backstage. Statlander's out of the tag match and said it was at Stokes' request. Athena teased that going after the TBS title. Said Statlander can be the women's champion. Like, that whole thing seemed kind of weird to me. I was like, one of them going to turn on each other or some shit?
I thought that too. Like, you go this way, I go that way.
No, why are you telling me which belt I need to go after and what belt you need to go after?
Especially when they were both beefing with Jade to begin with. That's what connected them.
You know, looking for a new baddie or something. So, so the FTR came out, and like I said, the FTR. Tony Schiavone introduced them. They got a good reaction. Cash basically talked about FTR. Wrestled the Briscoes before at Supercard Honor. They talked about respecting them, but that's not going to take away they're not going to take away their belts. Then Dax cut a really great promo.
Oh yeah,
about. Probably like one of the best ones he's cut. You know, he does like these style promos a lot. Like, as far as
I thought this was one of the better promos of the year, and I thought this was like the best thing I've ever heard him say on a mic. Like, he, there's been 10 times out of a dozen he's going to talk about how he's a family man and he's just here to to make money for his family and still try to pretend that like there's purses involved in winning in this fake fighting biz, but whatever. But like when he told the story, and I mean, I think we all immediately knew where this was going, and we knew the story was going to be, it was going to be his daughter. I thought this was great, and like, for all the family man stuff he does is just him basically like repeating the same catchphrase over and over again, or the same like stump speech, if you will. Like, this one actually like had the heart with it, and like I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great.
Yeah, this one was way better than what he normally does. I think people have memed it into my family, my daughter, like
right. Yeah, they have definitely
stuff.
Parodied him. Yeah.
But he basically talks about, there was a little girl that had a hole in her heart 3 years later. The hole was closed. That little girl worked her ass off to get better, and that little girl was Dax's daughter. If she can work that hard, he said he needs to bring home the championships and a legacy that she can be proud of. And on Saturday, he's going to fight like an 8-year-old girl. They had T-shirts drop like a day later or something like that, and all those proceeds are going to, I believe, the American Heart Association. So,
look, I understand that the shirt dropped the next day. They should have dropped that shirt right as he walked off. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn if it made it feel less impromptu or not. That shit was killer regardless. Like just when like the same thing with the Gargano thing at the end of his last show on NXT, he's like, follow your dreams or whatever else, and then all of a sudden the Pro Wrestling Tees dropped the next day. It was like the same thing. It's like, look, we know how you guys are. That wasn't exactly off the cuff, but it was great. It was a great moment.
So after that, Lethal.
And when I say you guys, I don't mean FTR. I mean wrestlers, workers in general.
Yep. So Lethal complained about Samoa Joe not coming to work and defend the ROH title. Christopher Daniels walked up and said he'll show up and fight him on Rampage, and Jay Lethal accepted. Then Jermaine Dupri accompanied Jade and Stokely. They're in the A, so Jermaine Dupri came out. And after that, we had Jay Cargill and Kiera Hogan defeating Athena and Willow Nightingale. Some of this was good, but then I think towards the end it kind of broke down. Jade's over big time. This is our home area, and they do have the baby faces in there with them, and I don't love it. They could have beat someone else, but JD was there. That was kind of interesting. He just kind of sat there.
Yeah, I was like, okay, all right. And at the end, like, Willow seemingly had her on the ropes for a second, and the crowd was interested. Like, is this the night? It was like, of course it's not the night, but Jade ended up getting her up and hitting her. Jade didn't got the win. Yeah, I remember the finish. I don't remember anything outside the finish.
Yeah.
And I remember that like Jay was on the ropes. That's it.
Black Sabre Jr. said TK was bringing out all the ATL legends. I was damn near expecting Outcast to pull up.
You ain't getting Andre out there for no wrestling. He likes wrestling at some point, but he ain't getting him out the house for that.
So like,
appearance.
I'm trying to think of all the.
You might catch him at the gas station.
Atlanta rappers that I would like to see be involved with pro wrestling. Like if I can get, the obvious one, right? Like, can I get the after the song ends, T.I. promo style cut like on somebody? Like,
I thought that you were going to go with the person that had like the most obvious fucking pro wrestling gimmick.
Oh, I could have said Pastor Troy.
Exactly. Yes, Pastor Troy pulling up in a hearse, like with like, yes, exactly. Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I was going to. Like, I remember the first time I saw that shit, like, what? And to make it better is like, he has like the WCW big gold belt like in his videos at all times. Just like, this man is a fucking wrestler. Like, he's a rapper, but he's a wrestler. This is like, you know how he got, what made him like, what blew him up?
Yes.
Yeah, like the fake beef of Master P is like, this man is a full-on wrestler. He's worked a gimmick against somebody, a program with somebody that had no idea he was even in it. Like, just amazing. But
I let everyone in the comment section know, like, go ahead and check out the Pastor Troy This Is City video.
Oh my, yeah. I gotta say, if y'all ever play that shit in a system, boy, that shit hits. That shit hits, and you don't even expect it. It just rattling your trunk. Like, good lord.
Black Saber Jr. says 2006 Gucci in wrestling would be amazing. The most feared man in the sport.
Yeah.
Like why does he sound like he's clowning around? Like, well, he's actually like very, very dangerous. So like that's the real yin.
Yeah. Yeah. You send shooters at him, he sends them back in body bags.
Yep. Go dig your homeboy up or whatever he said on that song. So
yeah.
I think the Bone Crusher would actually be pretty interesting. He's never scared.
Oh my god! I don't know how that wasn't somebody's like indie music. I don't know how that wasn't.
Yes, that should have definitely been indie music for someone.
I gotta say, like back around that time, like playing high school football, like going to a white school, and then like going to South County. And like you go to the black schools and they got their marching band and then like you can hear them playing Crank and then they're playing Never Scared and I'm like, why can our band play this shit? Like what Fight in the Bumblebee? Get the fuck out of here, man! Play some Crank.
I'm on the wrong side, man.
I'm telling you, like, look, we were good, but whatever, man, whatever. Like. Sometimes I think like if I just went to Clearwater High School instead of Countryside. Sometimes I really wonder how the things would have turned out or whatever as far as that. But whatever, man. We are where we are.
Yeah. Then we got the main event, the barbed wire everywhere match: Chris Jericho versus Eddie Kingston. And man, you would think that like a mass murder was committed, injustice, like the law was broken. I saw people reacting to this match like it was a sub 2-star match. Yeah. I was like,
nothing mattered outside of the finish. That was one of those for people. Nothing mattered outside of the finish.
Like, oh yeah, a little scrappy head buster for sure. That should definitely be somebody's
Rampage.
Yep. But I saw this match. I was like, yo, these dudes beat the shit out of each other.
Mm-hmm.
They took crazy bumps off of this shit. All the swerves kind of worked for me. Like the twists and turns, like the bringing Anna Jay out there and Sammy Guevara emerging at the end, kind of like how Shawn Michaels emerged at the end of the Triple H Sting match or whatever. And it's like, oh, this one motherfucker you didn't account for that he's right there. And then that's the first time you've seen him since he got thrown off the cage. And obviously, they had the deal where Jazz breaks out of the shark cage. So, yes, I understand you like, yo, they probably killed the gimmick. Obviously, you don't want people to get out of it. But I'm like, it's a fucking shark
match.
cage.
It's a Jericho match. When have you never seen... Name me the Jericho match where nobody gets out the cage. Whether it's a cage match or sharks in a cage. Kevin Owens is getting out the cage. Chris Jericho is getting out the cage. Like, it happens every single time. I understand that, like, you wish those things didn't happen, and I wish they didn't happen too. But I know the man's tropes. I've watched him wrestle since the 90s.
Like, I've seen people saying Chris Jericho needs to he needs to leave the business. He needs to go like back to WWE. He has no value.
They talked about him as if he was Triple H last week, Rich. I thought it was hilarious.
Bro, I'm like, yo, I understand y'all like Eddie Kingston. I love Eddie Kingston. I'm like, is he to the no lose point yet? Like he's in the no lose matches zone.
So I think the thing for me was I was more satisfied.
People expect this to be the last like thing. I'm like, well, Jericho hasn't won at all yet during this whole thing. It took 6 men or 5 men and 2 women.
It took all of the King's men to help Chris Jericho take out Humpty Dumpty. Yeah. So, it's in the thread while watching it live. Like, I peeped all this shit. Once I saw that they put Ruby in control of the thing, it was like, okay, well, based off of the injury she has, like, Tay's coming down. And that means if Tay's coming down, probably Sammy's returning. And, like, they did all the stuff. All that stuff I was calling, like, the second I saw Ruby, I said it in the thread. So, like, I expected all of this stuff. They're going to have the cage, let it down, or Sammy and Tay are going to interfere. So it took everything, and obviously the finish was botched with whatever the fuck was going on with Guevara.
They were clearly out of place, with something.
And also like their rush for time. Like, hey, if you got a big match, a big blowout, or a match that people think is a big deal, like how about like get rid of the squash match for do that next week, or do that on Rampage for Starks. But yeah, like they were rushing towards the finish. It felt like it was a huge miscommunication between Guevara and Jericho and Kingston on like the Hurricane, and then like they beat him, and then at the end, like Kingston throws him into like the mesh pit, and I was like, the whole time I was like, the mesh pit thing no one went through that. Like, my Chekhov's gun thing is like, just like, when is it going to happen? Right. So then he throws him into it. And after he loses, Jericho gets thrown into it by Kingston after Kingston loses. And I was like, okay, so it's not over. Like, this is basically that was the thing to tell you, like, it's not over. And like they gave Kingston all the protection in the world. But the thing that's crazy for me is like, people have already forgotten that Kingston won the first match between them.
Clean.
Right, as a sheet. Made him tap out in the middle.
Like, it was like this never happened. Like, this was struck from the record, James.
Yeah. So, like, there's the thing when, I forgot what match it was where, where Kingston didn't win. And I was like, I can't remember what it was. I was like, it was him trying to burn Danielson with the gas at Anarchy in the Arena, and like they end up losing because of it. And I was like, I don't like this, bro. I could see you add that, you throw that in there. You throw, he didn't win the match against at the top of the cage at Blood and Guts. You get this. It's like, all right, they got to have one more match, and like Kingston has to fucking win then in that instance, and then it's over with, so people can get over this, because like now it's reached a point where it's like this for me. It's probably my front runner for feud of the year. But if they fuck it up at the end, then we're gonna be looking at this like people look at Gargano and Ciampa. Maybe not to that epic of a level of people being disappointed by it, but as far as like being sour on it, to where like people were at like, 90% of it wasn't fucking excellent, and like the 10% ruins everything for everyone. Oh my god. I never mind the 4.5 star matches we already saw. I'm not talking about Kingston and Jericho. I'm talking about Gargano and Ciampa. Like it, so yeah, like I think that they did it on purpose, and there'll be another match, and I don't think it's over. And like I'm looking at it, and it's like they got big shows to do it at. Like I don't know how long they can hold it off before more TV before we end up getting to All Out, or even like the perfect idea would be to do it in New York, but I don't know if they can wait that long, because that's months away. Yeah.
I don't know what they escalate to. Like, it could be an I Quit match. Sam was suggesting that. I think they could do that. People were saying some funny stuff. Like, these guys are doing all the Japanese tropes. So originally it was King's Road. Then now they did like the FMW or whatever with the barbed wire shit. But after that, I think there was someone that said maybe they can do UWFI next. So, bro,
I did not want to see a work shoot. I did not want to see Jericho do work shoot style. Please do no. Like, do you want to see Jericho try to get people buzzsaw kicks for knockdowns? I don't want to see.
I saw the entrance to this match. It was some of the funniest shit I've ever seen Chris Jericho do. Like, he pops up through the fucking cultivator, and he has the mask on and the bat, and it's just like,
he looks ridiculous.
You fucking gimmick. Like, but Jericho wins. People lose their mind on Chris Jericho. I'm like,
they turned on Chris Jericho. Like, you know what I thought? You know what video I thought of? Do you remember when Gail King interviewed R. Kelly? And then with the lion about I didn't do this stuff. I gave y'all trying to end my career. I gave y'all 30 years. Like, in my mind, I'm thinking like, Jericho's like, y'all hate me now? I gave y'all 30 years. But yeah, it was just weird because it's like, bruh, like Kingston got him hooked on that good dope. Like they look.
Look, and I'm with it. I'm with the Eddie Kingston shit. Like
they with that man like he's fucking 80, like he's mid-80s Hogan right now. Like
he's Dusty.
Man, he can't lose. We can't. Yeah, Dusty's probably more apt. But like he can't lose. That's bullshit. It's like, bruh, like he won the first match. Relax. Like you never watched pro wrestling before. Like I think people have lost trust in the booker on this one because it's gone so long. And they feel like it's Jericho, quote unquote, like getting his wins back. And it's like, to what end? Like Jericho wins or loses tomorrow. He's going to wake up the next day, walk into the office and be who? That's right, Chris Jericho. Yeah, like, this is for Kingston to get another big win. I feel that way. And if we are wrong and this is squash and he's now like on the Moxley, I will come on the show next week and be like, what the fuck are they doing? And that'd be more than fair to say. But I think that I think that's pretty confident. Match.
I'm pretty confident Kingston's going to win at the end.
Yeah, like I think people were led to believe because of the gimmick that
this was the end.
This was the end, and they're pissed. And it's like when he threw if it was, they wouldn't have gotten out of it by having him throw him out. You throw him into the barbed wire pit at the end. It's not over.
Right. That and also like we mentioned, like there was 5 additional men, 2 women, and that's what was needed. And then extra interference on the side, like that Sammy shit was like, bro, I was screaming when I saw Sammy, bro. I was like, oh my god, this nigga showed up. Like so, yeah, but they beat the fuck out of each other. I was like, y'all tripping.
Like, I liked how they got out the cage. I like the reunion of Anna and Tay. That means
they're
that
evil. Also remember, James, Dark Order is forever.
Yeah,
that was a fucking lie.
Has the BTE came out and
yes.
like so been like, what the fuck?
Yes, it was today. Okay. He was like, the first day of Dark Order class, they tell you not to lower any shark cages. Like, I can't believe she did this. Like, she was funny, bro. Yes, she was hilarious. You gotta check it out. But yeah, it was pretty funny.
Okay,
but that's what we got for.
So, who do you think Ruby's gonna get to help try to beat their ass?
There's a lot of free agents out there. I saw people sending out pictures of Dakota.
Don't say Sarah Logan. Oh, okay.
Oh no! I saw pictures of people sending out pictures of Dakota Kai and Ruby tag teaming in the past.
Oh yeah, they did do that in the they did do that. Yeah, like before NXT. Yeah,
and I'm seeing a lot of like women's tag teams like quietly kind of forming, and I'm not liking it. I'm not liking it.
I mean, you have Jamie and you have Britt, you have Thunderstorm, So you're afraid there's gonna be a women's tag team division, and like then obviously like they set up the ways, and people will look at like, well, what about Sasha and Naomi, that sort of thing.
I just don't think they're equipped.
They don't have facilities for that. They're not set up for that. They don't. Yeah, they barely do good. Or I can't. I mean, retract that. Sometimes they do good women's wrestling in singles. Now you're gonna throw in tags. When there's even less time for that, yeah, but like, you already see the tag teams linking up though. You do see that, like the baddies, the trios of Thunderstorm, but the trios also of Athena and Willow and Statlander, Anna and Ty back together. It could be happening. I don't know if I already mentioned the baddies, but the baddies, So it's.
I just don't think they have they're not prepared to dedicate that kind of time.
Any chances another a women's tag tournament like it was 2 years ago?
It could be a women's tag team cup. Like I keep doing those I'm fine with those. But full out sets of belts, it's like there's a lot of stuff you pushing out the way for another set of something that I don't know, like the real value add there. Like,
I mean, if it's Sasha Banks and Naomi, it is definitely worth it. And you definitely got to do it if that's what it takes. Whatever. Look, after Thanos snapped out everybody or half the
whatever
universe.
gets him in the door.
Yeah. After Thanos snapped out half of the universe, and they had to go back in time and use the stones to, kill the stones or whatever the fuck it was at Endgame. Like, it's like whatever it takes. That's what they were saying. Like, whatever it takes. Some of us die. Some of us survive. We gotta do whatever it takes to bring back half the universe. Whatever it takes to get Sasha Banks in, we walk through this fucking door. Whatever it takes. Look, after you commission them women tag team belt, commission them trios belts if you need be. Whatever it takes.
But yeah.
Whatever Mercedes wants, she gets. Whatever Trinity wants, she gets.
So we had Rampage also. This was an okay episode. It wasn't, this was one of those weeks where it's like, damn, like, are y'all gonna put like some hot shit on Rampage? No? Okay. But Hangman Page and John Silver against Butcher and the Blade. Page and Silver picked up the win. My quest for Hangman to actually get into something important continues. Right. I still don't know how he feels about losing the world title. And almost at this point, it's like that ship has sailed almost at this point. It's like he's just like, after you lose the title, like, I think his usage has been like downright embarrassing. To not sugarcoat it at all. Like, what the fuck? I thought this guy was a star.
Yeah,
like
they took the belt off of Jon Moxley in like the very next pay-per-view. He's in a tag team title match with Kingston versus the Young Bucks.
Or he's getting rematches and shit on pay-per-view first, and then like going through the trios loop, and then leads to like the Bucks thing.
Yeah.
Hangman is like, I don't know. Are they waiting to like to do the Elite reunion? Because I know Kenny and the Bucks are getting back together.
That's exactly what it is, and it's taking for fucking ever. Like, and it's the Young Bucks,
shit with them in the meantime. Like, damn.
Like, so much of the year has been the Young Bucks and Adam Page just chilling out, waiting for Kenny Omega to get by. And like, granted, the Young Bucks end up with the tag team belts, and they had to whatever else, and they've had some great matches. But like, it just feels like what do you want to do? Nothing, because like we want to wait until Kenny Omega comes back. It's like, bro, you can't be that held up on all this shit. And obviously, I think some of it also is also complicated with O'Reilly being hurt and Cole being hurt. But it's like, y'all just not gonna do nothing, waiting for 3 different people to get injured. Who knows when the fuck they'll be back? Do something.
And I think Matt actually was hurt, but got cleared, so they're even delayed from wrestling more again. There's probably like a face turn that comes with all this, so I understand the caution. Like, you don't want to like fuck a face turn up because there's nothing worse.
Yeah, that's fair, but still, it's frustrating. It is very frustrating to be like, where are the guys?
Like, where's the Elite? Like,
that's what I mean.
like that's
like, I understand Kenny's hurt, but what the fuck? Like,
yeah.
Y'all, how long are y'all willing to wait on this? And I know, the report said Omega is due back before All Out, all that kind of stuff, but All Out's in September. It is July. Really? That's how long we gonna wait? Okay.
Yeah, because I can tell you, like, Hangman Page showing up, just kind of looking like, damn, like a guy at this point, and it's like, well, what was all this effort that was put into him, like, for over the last 3 years? And then, like, him looking light years away from the guy that was like fighting Lance Archer and like doing these incredible like matches at the beginning of the year. It's like, he's just kind of, is this like his Okada Balloons phase? Like, what the fuck is this? Like,
I mean, there was a lot. It's funny because I actually heard someone refer to Utami as Balloons Okada early, like a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, like, this dude was a like serious, legitimate Wrestler of the Year contender, and like the rate this shit's going, Like, you know, there's a reason why they handicap these races, and you track it as it goes. But like he's definitely down right now. He's definitely trending down. And he needs to shine the arm. And like, it's got, like, I would just like for this man to like have a non-title feud again, aside from just Paige. I'm sorry, not Paige, but Pac, where like he gets to wrestle somebody multiple times. It's fun. Like, what's Andrade doing? Like, I know, well, that's a bad answer. I know they're doing the ROH thing and with. Can
we get him in there with Jay Lethal next? How about that?
Like, get him. I mean, it got to do something. But damn. Yeah. Like, get him I don't know. Get him something. Anything. There's dozens of wrestlers on this roster. Find him a hot match. Find him a program for now that he can do on TV.
Yeah, there's all those Blackpool Combat Club guys. Like, you know, pick one of them to fight. Like something. Like I don't know. Like, but Lee Moriarty and Dante Martin. This was kind of interesting because we had this is a rematch of a match that they had on Dark about a year ago, and this was two baby faces at the beginning of the match, and then Lee Moriarty kind of takes the easy way out, holds the rope on a roll up, you know, and it's like, he's finding out that doing things the good way isn't working for him, because we see Stokely Hathaway kind of walk out. Looks like he may be trying to recruit Lee. Lee is kind of playing coy on that. I think he takes his business card but walks off.
No. He gets offered last week. It was offered to him, and he didn't have a chance to accept it. And Seidel ripped it up. This week he offers it, and he smiles and doesn't take it. So next week he will take it.
Yeah. So next week he's due to fight Matt Seidel, and basically said, "You ain't fighting the student, you fighting the teacher." So we'll see which way this goes. But this is a little something to pay attention to. Good.
This match, the good technical wrestling, the fun technical wrestling.
Indeed. Yeah. I haven't had the complaints about Lee Moriarty that I've had about other gentlemen. Also, you know, Dante Martin's always excellent. So
yes, underrated technical wrestler too.
We had Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter taking on Ashley D'Amboise and Sky Blue.
Yes,
man, what a match!
They beat the shit out of them too, and it was fun for me. I enjoyed them. Just raw. I almost said raw dog. Rag tagging them. They beat the shit out of them too. It was fun. Like, there was a twist. Like, I know that Britt does the sling blade, but when she got one of them on the apron and did an elevated twist and shout, I fucking howled. I did not know we were getting Brittany Hashi. I was not expecting that one. But it all clicked to me. The sling blade, that, okay. When do I get the high fly flow? When is that coming? When is that coming through?
I mean, she is the ace. When does that
hit the shelves?
Look, she is the ace.
Yeah. But yeah, and then, you know,
Britt Baker, just like Tanahashi.
Hey, Britt and Jamie, tags. They're so much better in tags in AEW. So much better. Like, they can have their match or two or whatever else when they're wrestling like a Riho or a Shida, but like, just run of the mill, day in, day out, consistently, they're consistently better as a tag team than they are singles in AEW so far.
So
Tanahashi has better hair. Hey man, you say that shit to Britt if you want to catch a lockjaw.
Jay Lethal versus Christopher Daniels. I didn't see this match.
So Daniels is fighting on behalf of the absent Samoa Joe. I can't remember this match even though I watched it today, but like I thought it was very good. I really enjoyed it, and like there were nice kickouts, and the crowd was into it, and like it's interesting because like Christopher Daniels can still go, but like he's the vet that he's the highly respected vet that's there to lose, and like the crowd knew it, but like the crowd still like enjoyed the match. It wasn't like it was some 4-star thing or whatever else, but it was a 3.5 thing. It was fun. And at the end, they get Lethal gets the win. He goes for lethal injection. Daniels back body drops out of it, and I forgot, he falters somehow, some way, and then Lethal just gets it again and gets the lethal injection, gets the win, and then they take him outside and Singh and Dutt and Lethal, they wear his ass out with stomps or whatever else, and the crowd is expecting, they're expecting Joe to show up and make the save, right? Because they haven't seen Joe in forever. And then after a certain amount of time goes, and Dutt and Lethal are talking that shit into the camera, they realize there ain't nobody coming to save Chris Daniels. He finna die out there. He finna stay out there on the ground. And they started to boo, and they went black on that, and I was like, and that's when I sent that text saying Sanjay Dutt is so fucking annoying, because at the end they go off air. Dutt looks at the camera and he has a yellow pencil because he's wearing yellow, and he looks at the camera and says, "We're gonna snap you," and Joe, we're gonna snap. He snaps the pencil. I was like, he's so annoying, but it's awesome how annoying he is. I like the act, I really do. It's just so simple. Just be annoying and be good talkers.
Yeah, man. But I guess that's it for AEW. So I guess there's only one thing left to do, James. Hit the music.
Okay, so I have to pull up the I see your comment. You're an idiot, Rich. I have to pull up my notes for Stardom. So I'm not going to go through the Road 2 shows from the weekend before, from I think it's the 8th, 17th, and 18th or whatever else. Oh, it's actually the 16th, 18th, and one other day. But I'm going to look at the pay-per-views from this past weekend. Stardom in Showcase. Okay, so this show, the presentation I enjoyed. As far as, there's a live DJ that starts it off. The people are coming down to the ring with a DJ playing music, and, each song, fits the theme of what the music is. Like when they did the Cosmic Angels and Summer match, they're playing this, I wouldn't say tropical, but this upbeat track that has the vocals from the stems from Earth, Wind and Fire September, right? And anything that can fit that sounds, it sounds great. And then when they go for the I Quit match between Kurumi and Shuri, they play something more serious, and then the hardcore match they play something more serious, and then the 4-way Falls Count Anywhere match they play something more fun. So it's they're playing sets, and as they're playing sets, they're playing on the Titantron what got them to the match, whatever the VTR is for that the video package, and then they made entrances, both of them, and then when it's time for them to when it's time for them to wrestle, instead of the bell ringing when the refs signals for the bell, the DJ plays a person's "Let's go," and then you hear the burr, 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 the air horn, and it happens every night. Every single time it made me pop. Right, I was expecting it by the third match.
Lothario Negro says DJ Pretty Dragon was hitting the music.
Yes, she was. She was hitting that music. They let her start the show by playing opening set, and she played some classic staples. She played Call on Me, Avicii Levels, stuff like that, and then played the intro music or the entrance music for the video packages and for the wrestlers to come out to enter to. So let's get to the matches, because they start the show with a showcase battle royal. Mayu, Hazuki, a lot of people are in it, and then but number 2, there was originally 3 surprise people in it, but they ended up knocking it down to 2 because the card got adjusted because Tommy, Nasapoi, Waka and one or two other people like couldn't make the show from either a COVID concern or an not healed up injury yet. So the second person that comes out, Rich, super strong Stardom machine. They put Ida back in that fucking a leotard and mask at fucking hell. So, like, Ida comes out and, like, Maggie goes, isn't this, and before she can say Saya or Ida, she covers her mouth and then she, like, wrestles like a generic wrestler. And then, like, everybody else from Stars come out and they all tag up on Super Strong Stardom Machine. Nasa come back. By the end of the match, basically, the last two people are, Amasaki and the second surprise guest, Gokikin Death. So that's good. Yes, that's Death when she was in Stars and was the happy clown. You know, not so much depressed, sad clown or evil clown like we've seen since she got, was sold into bondage of Edo Tai.
Hey,
or not sold, but lost into bondage.
Gokikin Death, greater than Jonathan Gresham.
Oh my God, I can't with you right now, Rich. Yeah, so at the end, like, Gokikin, it is funny because, like, she shows up and Kogo's there, and Kogo, like, she's only been around for, like, the beginning of this year or maybe a little bit before then. Like, the beginning of this year. And, like, she's like, Gokikin, like, actual friends, like, I've met you before. Y'all ain't met before. What the fuck? And she's like, and they're doing tag moves together or whatever else. And then, like, the next day, like, it's Fukigen back in Odo Tai, and she's like, wait, what happened? You're evil again. What? But, Gokigen ends up winning with the O'Connor roll. This was a rough ass Rumble. Like, I didn't give it 2 stars, but, like, it was fun. Like, it's fun, but it's crummy wrestling. Like, so I felt like I was watching a different Joshi wrestling promotion, at the time. Yeah, so.
Care to name names, or we just gonna move on? Okay, yeah, let's move on.
Look, you know.
They know.
Yeah. So, second match, you end up getting the Tower and Power match. Now, this match ended up getting adjusted for Queen's Quest to be dropped out. It was going to be in it Utami and Lady C, but they moved Lady C to the Battle Royal, and then they just did Himeka versus Ida and Ami. And the match starts where, like, they start with Himeka and they start with Ami, and it's about to be a giant battle. And then for some strange reason, like, Himeka, they go for the high reaching knuckle lock, right? So then Himeka asks Micah to come in and basically, like, put her on her shoulders. So now, like, it is Himeka on top of Micah's shoulders, and now Himeka's freshening up saying, now what? So now Ami's looking around like, what do we do? So then Ami tells Ida, let me get on your shoulders. Ami and fucking Ida, strong ass, lifts her up, puts her on her shoulders, and then, like, at the top, almost like during the pool, like, you have it at the top of it, you got the Giants on top doing the high knuckle lock, and then at the bottom you have Ida and Micah doing it, and then eventually Micah's, like, back gives out, and then from there, all the hossery, chops and shoulder tackles and all that. But the rule to this match was, all the rules were explained at the show, like, right before the match. The rules of this match was basically a single elimination over the top rope tag match. So the first person gets thrown over the top rope, the match ends. So the end of the match ends up being, I thought this was good. I ended up giving it 3 stars. The end of the match is they're tussling over a vertical suplex, and then Ida and Micah, and then Ida ends up on Micah's shoulders, and then Micah just starts running towards the top rope and just hurled Ida's ass, like, over the top rope onto the floor. So then you get the Cosmic Rules match, or Summer Cosmic, whatever the fuck it was called in Rules or whatever else, or Cosmic Colors in I don't know, whatever. Cosmic Summer Rules, whatever. Basically,
Cosmic Rules.
Yeah, whatever. So basically, it's supposed to be a tag team match. Nat's point was not cleared, so it turns to a triple threat match, and it's the Mina, the Yanagi, and the Saki, and they all come down to the ring in a white dress shirt and like the short shorts, and they come down with like floaties. Like one has like a inner tube, the other one, and then another like float thing, right? So then the match happens. Unagi eventually in the middle of the match brings out a goofy gimmick box, and they all pull out the box. 1, 2, 3. There's 2 super soakers, and the third one is like some type of wicker basket. And Mina gets the wicker basket. The other 2 get those super soakers. So fuckery ensues. People get super soaked. There's a near fall with the ref. The one that's not in the pin is a super soaking the ref, so they breaks the count. People slip and slide on the ring. The Mina eventually has the ring to herself, and she does the Mina pose, looks dead into the camera now that her shirt is soaking wet, and decides to unbutton and reveal the bosom, and then and as she does that, she then catches a boot to the head from Saki, and then they all end up with their shirts off, and then there's more comedy, playful wrestling, and at the end of this painful thing, the match gets ruled a no fucking contest.
Interesting.
Yeah, I didn't rate this, but this is one of the worst matches of the year. I didn't rate it, so sure, 0, whatever. I don't care. Give -0, I don't care. It's one of the worst matches of the year I've seen. But like, for those that weren't there for the professional wrestling, y'all definitely got what y'all wanted out of this one, because the Mina'd. Then you get an I Quit match between Shuri and Karumi. Karumi is the heavy from Prominence. This was originally supposed to be a tag match with Mirai in it, versus also with Akane Fujita, but Akane Fujita from Prominence, their number 3, had some neck injury apparently, so she was out as well. So it turned into a singles match, and they moved Mirai down. She was in the Battle Royal. So it's Karumi, who's a young girl. They're number 5 out of the 5-person faction in Prominence, versus Shuri in an I Quit match. And basically what they did was, instead of doing pinfalls, they basically did a regular match where, like, instead of a 3 count, anytime someone got hit with a big move where they could have got their leg hooked for a pin, the ref basically is like, do you want to continue? Asked her twice if you're sure you don't want to continue. So that's how they told the story of the match. Karumi, she's green as hell, but like, she's a big hoss, and like, I think she's going to end up being good. Like, for the stuff she already does, the power moves she already does, like, she does a boss man slam that looks fantastic. But Shuri did a carry job. I enjoyed this match. At the end, the finish ends up being, they end up brawling up to the stage, and Shuri escapes out of whatever danger she was in. She kicks off Kurumi's head, and Kurumi won't give up. So Shuri's like, all right, fine. Like, puts her up in a launch position from a body slam, and walks towards the edge of the stage. Is like, give up or I'll fucking kill you. So that made her give up. Like, she wouldn't give up off of Kurumi wouldn't give up off her after, like, getting beat down with that buzzsaw kick. She wouldn't give up off her a sleeper, so he ended up hoisting her up and was like, if you don't, I'm just going to throw you off the stage and kill you if you don't do it. So she gave up to spare her life, and then Shuri threw her through a false floor anyway. It was awesome. The finish anyway. I gave this match 3 1/4. For a person I've never seen wrestle who's completely green or whatever else, I thought that Shuri carried her very well, even with like the odd, but like the unfamiliar idea of like you get hit with a big move, you want to quit to just stop the pain. But yeah, that was fun. And then you get the Falls Count Anywhere Fatal 4-Way match. Tam, Azumi, Kaguma, and Momo. I'll get to it, but like in this match, there might be the funniest spot I've seen or thing in wrestling in a match I've seen all fucking year happen. So, like I said, the setup is different. They have DJ DJ Pretty Dragon, like basically like on a stand like above the Titantrons. She's like 10, 12 feet up in the air. And off to the sides of both stages, there is a elephant bouncy house, like a bouncy house in the shape of an elephant. And there's also like one of those like bouncy slide deals that they're like 2 stories high, and you climb up and you slide down. So match starts. It's chaos. Kaguma and Azumi are like playing tag at some point. Like, it was like Kaguma was like, "Come chase me, Azumi." And Azumi, no, it was actually Tam chasing her. And then like Tam was chasing her around.
Tam too old to be playing with the little kids like this.
You're stupid. So in the middle of the match, like all of a sudden, like you're like, where did Momo go? Did she just fuck off? She's like, "I'm out of here." Come to find out that like in the build to this, it started where like those three, the babyface were talking about doing a match for Stardom Showcase, and then like as you're walking through a door, Momo's walking into it, and like they all knocked each other over and like dropped Momo's food, and then Momo whooped all three of their asses. She was pissed that her food got dropped. So Azumi is searching around while those two are playing tag and finds out that like there is like a offshoot room, and the camera follows them where like there's like the Oedo Tai lair where like they all have their laptops up, and then Momo's eating food. She's eating her meal. She's like, "I missed my lunch. This is bullshit." It actually, the show started around lunchtime on the Saturday anyway. So missed my lunch. I don't want to be in this match. Whatever. And she's eating. So then Azumi stomps her out. And look, stomped her out, and none of her homegirls did nothing. Just sat there and watched. And then Azumi, because she saw other trays of food, stole Momo's food and took it to the ring, and that enticed Momo to get back into the match. So they end up getting to the floor of the bouncy slide. So actually, I gotta retract. I gotta go back. As the chase stuff was happening, they cut to them inside of the bouncy house, the elephant bouncy house, and Tam and Kaguma start basically like doing like the rolling cradle falls inside the bouncy house in a circle. Like it goes in a circle. It's hilarious. And then like you never see them again, and you see Momo and Azumi wrestling more. And the next thing you know, they cut back after a minute or two, and like Tam is wearing Kaguma's gear, and then like Kaguma is wearing Tam's gear, and they're all like, "What the fuck happened?" Like it was a magic trick that happened, or whatever else. So then they all end up over by the bouncy slide. Kaguma and Tam end up climbing to the top of the bouncy slide. They basically go through the elevator, go through the thing up to the second floor, climb over the railing, get on the top, to bounce, to climb through. There's other parts I'm missing when they already went through the slide already one time. So Azumi and Momo are there to catch them. And like Tam's like hesitant, like, I don't want to jump, even though all she does is jump off shit now. I don't want to jump. Kaguma says, "You don't want to jump? Fine." Throws Tam over the down the slide to go tumble crashing down to the floor. You could be another person to catch. So Kaguma, known for the comment section, known to jump off shit. All of this stuff happened. This is okay. People are like, "Am I on all drugs?" Explaining what happened on the Stardom, because people that heard us talk about Stardom, they ain't never heard us talk about no show like this before. This is their new showcase show. This is basically their excuse to say they have a third brand where Stardom is Stardom. They have their young girl show, showcase show or series called New Blood, And then this is their new thing that they're going to do at the same, like every 6 weeks as well, where like they do a bunch of gimmick matches and do goofy shit. So people that say they don't do fun stuff and where is the costume battle royal? Well, here's your costume battle royal. Like Tam dressed up as Kaguma, Kaguma dressed up as Tam. Shut the fuck up. So, they put on all these goofy matches or whatever else, and some are going to be good, some weren't going to be good, and some are just going to be goofy fun or whatever else, and they can say, hey, this is just like all the other goofy shit that happens in Gato Move or TJPW and Sakuraism that y'all say is like the reason why Stardom isn't good, even though look at the business, look at the matches, look at the storylines, whatever. But anyway, back to the match. Those three at the bottom, Kaguma's at the top. She jumped off the top of the ladder to the floor in the cage match, or in that ladder match back in December. She jumped off the top of the cage to finish the match. She escaped the cage last month. So what does she do? She goes to jump off that bouncy slide. But keep in mind, that bouncy slide is a bouncy slide. Like, you've been on a bouncy house before, right? You know how that is not rigid. Yeah. So when she loaded up to jump, there was nothing rigid to propel her. So she splattered right on her fucking face and basically melted down to the floor. And Mayu was on commentary. I have never heard somebody laugh that hard at they fucking friend botching in the middle of a match. It's the funny, bro. My stomach hurt from laughing so hard at this shit. But basically from there, Azumi and Kaguma end up to the top of the stage, and Rich, I shit you not, I look at the stage and you can see like there is like a false wall there, and it reminds me of like, was it 2000? Is it King of the Ring or Royal Rumble? What was the pay per view that had Angle versus Shane?
King of the Ring 2000.
It looked like that kind of false wall, and sure enough, Azumi gives a vertical suplex and vertical suplexes Kaguma through that fucking false wall, and then gets the pin for one and wins the goofy match. And then like Momo, you never see Momo again after the Kaguma botch. You never see her again, but you see like the other three baby faces all celebrating and being in good spirits, and they walk to the back. And then like you later see pictures of on Twitter of Kaguma and Tam in each other's gear. It's almost like a pro wrestler's jersey swap after the game, but whatever. So let me go back to this. Yeah, man, securism is real. Like, think about it. Think about it. So then you get to like a match that could actually have been like on a Stardom card. The second one actually could have been on a Stardom card. It is Julia and Mai versus Suzu and Risa in a hardcore match. So they come down with all the gimmicks. Like, Suzu comes down with a styrofoam board that's like, I don't know, 6 feet tall, 4 feet wide, that has plastic forks sticking into them with like the business end sticking up.
The fuck?
Right. And so Julia, because of her love of like the karate tiles, she comes down with a group of them. Like, they're all stacked along the ring. And I had PTSD from when she had that terrible god-awful white belt match versus Nascatora at the beginning of 2021. And I was like, this is going to be awful. And at the beginning, it stunk. And then they kept going, and it got fucking good as hell. This match was very good. This probably has to be the best Mai Sakurai match ever. And it involved her going and getting thrown into shit and getting shit thrown into her. Basically, the end of the match is they put something over the top of Mai. And, Risa, big Joshi by today's standards, 5'5", probably like 140-ish. She gets on the second rope, and then Suzu basically backpacks on her. Almost like a koala, right? Whatever was on top of Mai, I don't remember. But Risa came off with Suzu on her back and hit a diving double knee drop on top of whatever it was, and that was the end. That was the end. This is a good ass match. I ended up giving this 3 3/4. It was on a pile of chairs. It was a pile of chairs those two were on. Or that was on before they murdered Mai. I don't know what was said after that, but they basically saying like, Susan said to Julia, like, I face you at the Grand Prix. We're in the same block. You know, they're on the last night of the Grand Prix. You know, Susan's gonna try to play spoiler, obviously. And then the main event. Saya Kamatani versus Starlight Kid versus the Grim Reaper. There were vignettes earlier in previous weeks showing the Grim Reaper in different videos. In one video attacking Kamatani and also Rossi, and then the second video attacking Starlight Kid and Rossi. And I'm just like, damn, Rossi, you getting your ass whooped. Like, you making too much money out here. You gotta buy a higher security detail. You can't be letting death sneak up on you like this now. Come on now.
He ain't even looking for the real killers.
And when I say the Grim Reaper, I mean somebody that is dressed in like almost like the druid veil, and then has a skull mask over their face, and like it does not look like it. It looks like you can probably, that's like a good one you get out of Party City or whatever little like makeshift costume place you got, right? Get you a nice little $30 $20 Halloween costume. So they set up two caskets, both on opposite sides, right? One towards the entrance, one on the other side of the entrance. So they all come down, and then the last entrance is the Grim Reaper, obviously. And I'm looking at the Grim Reaper, and I'm like, I can see a piece of the gear, and I see the color of the gear, and my thought was, is that Rin Katakura? Based off the colors. But I was like, no, that can't be Rin, because like the body shape is off. Like, is she wearing like a false bodysuit or something? I don't know. We'll see how this goes. So eventually the match goes or whatever else. They tease, lifting having the refs lift the casket door to throw them in. And apparently the rules is you got to throw both of them in to close it, right? So eventually, after some of the shenanigans and like them trying to do their luching around this Grim Reaper, eventually they get a hurricane rana or something and the mask comes off. And I'm like, was that on purpose? Was that a botch? They raise up, and it turns out, Rich, it was fucking you. Not
why you?
Yes, not you like Rich Latta. You is in like former Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling Eve you. Why you? Yes. And I was like, every time I've ever seen this woman, she's basically just been like this lovely, like nice woman that will get angry and throw chops and bowling ball you in the corner. Like, why is she evil now? And why is she even wearing this colorful ass gear? So they wrestle around, they tease near falls, like they tease, so they do one where like they, Kamatani and Kid team up together to get you to charge at them towards one of the caskets, and they pull the rope, and you goes over the top, and she crashes on top of one of the caskets, and like the casket collapsed underneath on impact. And then they had a top down cam, so like you see like the devastation. So the match continues. They end up by the other casket, and they have elevate the casket where it's like sitting up with the door open, like you can like Irish whip somebody into the casket and close the door and eliminate them in that way. So you and Kid tease that, and as they're doing all that stuff, they reveal the camera angle from the entrance towards the ring, and you see fucking Kamatani on top of this big ass casket. And keep in mind, this casket is big. I mean, like sitting on the floor, standing up. It's above the ropes. It's like 8 feet in the air. She jumps, she hits her plancha off of the casket, obviously. They end up back in the ring, and they tease them more near falls or whatever else, and eventually Yu gets both of them into the casket and shuts the door on both of them. And then like she grabs the rope that connected to the casket, and she walks that bitch off like she's a goddamn Undertaker. And I was like, what? Why? So like this show, I have fun watching it. I would never recommend this show. I would never, like, if I'm going to recommend anything, I'd be like,
James said, "Nah, man, I ain't putting my name on this."
Nah, this is not James Boyd's Joshi Professional Wrestling. It is not. So yeah, like, I have fun watching it. Can I recommend you a third match off this show? I probably cannot. I probably can, like the triple threat match, but the Falls Count Anywhere match because how goofy it was, and just for the botch on Kaguma alone. But nah, man, like, this match, like, if I had to rank this against the other actual wrestling that Stardom does, this is one of the weaker shows of the year, and definitely the weakest pay-per-view they've ever had. So then the next day they had the real thank God, the palate cleanser, like the real pay-per-view. They had Stardom MidSummer's Champions, and this was a very good show, just like any other Stardom pay-per-view. You get very good at the worst, and usually you get great, and then sometimes you get a depending on what show it is, the biggest show, one of the biggest shows of the year, you're going to get, a show of the year contender. But this started out with let's see where we are right now.
Mai Sakurai and Rina.
Mai and Rina Amakari. Not normal Rina Amakari. She's in colors. They basically just put people together because of the cancellation and scratches. Versus Ida and Hannon. They go back and forth. It's a pretty good match. Amakari and Ida do Haw spots very similar to what they did at New Blood a few weeks ago. Ultimately, you end up getting Mai in the ring with Ida. Ida eliminated Mai from the Cinderella tournament earlier this year, so there's some smoke. They end up going to a 10-minute time limit draw on the opener by teasing them near falls. So then you end up going to Mayu and Kogo versus Fukigen Death and Rohaka. And starts out the match, Kogo's like, "You were just good yesterday, and like, we're friends. Like, we're not friends anymore." And like, right. And she's trying to convince her, and the clown, just the evil clown, just, tricks her and beats her up. Ultimately, you end up getting, at the end, you get Kogo helping Mayu tag team on Roaka, and then Mayu ends up finishing Roaka with a crucifix bomb for the win. Decent match. Then you get Azumi versus Rina, the normal Rina, in a high-speed match, and this was
age versus youth,
Yeah, 16 versus 19. Yeah.
Old versus young.
Yeah. So, this match is good. It wasn't a high-speed match. They just basically went out there and said, let's try to have a very good regular match, and like, Azumi will be just Azumi, so like, we can call it a high-speed match. But at the end, Azumi ended up beating her by converting a move into a European clutch, like the Sabre bridge over deal. I ended up giving this 3.25. This is one of the worst. Probably it is the worst high-speed match of Azumi's reign. But like, we're talking about normally like 3.75 out the box. But so then you end up getting the Queen's Quest B team of Amasaki, Hina, and Lady C versus Risa Sera, Suzuki, and Karumi versus Mina, Unagi, and Hikari. Hikari's filling in for Natsupoi. So it's a Captain's Fall match. So Hikari is I think, no, Mina is a captain for Cosmic Angels. C, I believe, is the captain for Queen's Quest, and Risa Sera is the captain for Prominence. And basically, like, they're going back and forth. It's really just a Prominence versus Cosmic Angels match where they got to throw the B team, Queen's Quest team in here. So they eliminated C early and got them out of there. And because Unagi and Risa are both in the red block, and Mina and Suzu are both in the blue block, they're naturally pairing up together. So this match is fine once they got the kids out. Hikari looked good, and then at the end you end up with Mina and Suzu come down to the end, and then like Mina seemingly had Hikari dead to rights in a pin, and then like Risa interfered and Suzu reversed it and got the win, or hit her with a move, and then actually caught her with her flash pin and pinned her. I ended up giving this 3.5, and then like at the end, like Unagi was drawn with Risa and Mina was drawn with Suzu, and it was to preview the 5-star Grand Prix. But it's a very good match. Then you end up with the trios title match. Momo, Kid, and Saki versus Julia, Micah, and Himeka. The top 3 of Donna Del Mondo. And this match is very good, and I like the twist turns, and the final stretch comes down to, you have Momo and Micah playing off some of the stuff they've done in past times, of like club versus kicks. And like, it was very fun when they were beating the crap out of each other. But the closing stretch comes down to Saki and and Julia. And Saki and Julia have had this little mini thing over the past few months of like, Julia keeps finding new members of variations of Donna Mondo members to challenge Oedo Tai for these trios belts, and she keeps fucking losing. And like at the same time, Julia and Saki end up in the ring together, and they're always like the deciding factor on like who wins the setup match and who ends up losing the title match. And like this happened again, and like, you know what it is. Julia beating the shit out of Saki. Saki trying to get her up Julia trying to get her up and hit her with a glorious driver or something. And then like Saki plays dead, and you know, like that fucking crucifix pin's coming, and like Julia is able to counter it once or twice or whatever else, and eventually like Julia even her own counter to her crucifix pin and get her own flash pin. But like everybody on the outside keeps breaking it up, and then eventually like they Mahime like just destroys Kid and Momo, and like is now Julia with Mahime about to triple team Saki, and Saki's already had her ass beat. So like Julia has Saki up, and Mai and Himeka are both coming off the ropes and hit a double lariat. Saki ducks, they lariat Julia. Kid and Momo throw Micah and Himeka out the ring, and sure enough, here comes the fucking flash crucifix pin, and they pin Julia, and I was like, the mud continues. Like this isn't some imagined losing streak. This is a real thing they are building for them of like, they can't win shit. They've lost. People have defected from them. They can't win shit. People are saying, I'd rather team up with my biggest the person I've been chasing the whole time I've been in this company, than be with you losers anymore. And like, Julia sent out a tweet earlier today or the day after the show. It was like, the fog still hasn't cleared. I fucking howled. Like, this woman is lost and is struggling and is pressing and trying to find ways to get out of this. And like, they're setting up this table for her to run through this tournament. And like, I love it. Like, she's going to run through this tournament. She's going to win this block, or she's going to be on the precipice, and we'll see what Suzu has to say about it. But like, I find this intriguing, for now. Like, but you know, that they're finna bounce back at some point. By the end of this year, they're gonna bounce back, whether Julia wins this Grand Prix or not. Donna Mondo is gonna bounce back in some major way, and like, the get back is gonna be great. Like, yeah, we came in here and dominated. We doing our jobs now, but we finna come back. You best believe. So then the white belt match, Saki versus
match.
All caps Saki. Oh yeah, you're right. Tag match. Hazuki and Kaguma versus Mirai and Ami. And for as much shit as I gave their match, their first tag match. This match was so much better. Obviously, it didn't go as long, but the ending stretch, you end up with Hazuki and Ami in the ring, and like there is a spot where like Ami is just beating the shit out of Hazuki, and Hazuki gets a Lamai straw cradle, and Ami was ready for it, and she trapped her in the pin, and she hooked the leg, and like she near fall kicked it 2.999, and then the match continued more, and it had Hazuki on the, looks like it's in the hope. And then eventually she escapes and ends up getting Hazuki Strong in the win. I gave this 3 3/4. I could be convinced of 4. I was really impressed by Hazuki in this match, and like the hot tag they built towards Hazuki by, you know, Kuma getting her ass beat by those giants, them ruffians, and like they're just such a good fucking tag team. They're such a good tag team. After the match, they nominate Tam and Natsupoi. So we'll see whenever that happens. I'm assuming it's going to happen the next pay-per-view. Or not the next pay-per-view, but like the next non-Grand Prix pay-per-view. Then you end up getting the white belt match, Kamatani versus Saki. And Saki basically is like, I'm here. I'm very experienced. I'm in all the right places. I don't fuck up anything. I'm solid as fuck. And I am going to like I'm going to have the advantage in this match at certain points, but like I'm here to like almost like do a Adam Cole job with Kamatani. Like I thought that like I like the story in this match. I like the back and forth, and I like the pacing and the selling in this match a lot more than the Starlight Kid match. And like obviously there was no like body part match or whatever else, but like, I really enjoyed this match, and like, this is definitely on the lower end of the Kamatani white belt matches, but like, I still gave this 4 stars. Like, new opponent, no beef, no tension to really make this work, short notice or whatever else, and like, those two went out there and they had themselves an excellent professional wrestling match. At the end, Kamatani ends up winning with a Phoenix Splash. This wasn't no match that was trying to be super epic and a bunch of near falls. It was just like Saki has her on the ropes. Kamatani comes back. Kamatani blows by her on the freeway and just beats her with a Star Crusher and beats her with a Phoenix Splash, man. And like this is the first time she felt like, or not the first time, but like she felt like the dominant champion in a way where it's like, yeah, she clearly beat somebody. It wasn't some back and forth desperate match of the titles in the balance like, you know, the Mariah match or the Kid match was recently. So, great defense. Another solid defense. Solid 4 stars. Then the main event, Tam versus Shuri.
Yep.
They beat the shit out of each other.
Shuri decided she was not about to walk no Tam road.
Oh, she walked the Tam road.
Look, they gave her directions to the road, and she was like, you know what? Nah.
She walked the Tam road. People just use the Tam road thing as a way to say she does too much melodramatic stuff in her wrestling. Forgetting the part where it's like, all right, well, how about like when she does tournament wrestling? Nothing to say there? Oh, okay. Oh, we're talking about like 3 matches, maybe? Period? Oh, okay. But yeah, this match follows in line with the Kamatani white belt match that Tam had earlier in the year in March, where like we wrestle, we do mat wrestling, we end up outside, I end up working your neck, I get you outside, you counter me, stop me, cut me off, I do a big like spot where either, you know, off the top turnbuckle or off the apron, I take a back bump, you try to take me to concrete or a staging area, I escape the danger, I hit you with I roll you through, I hit you with a V trigger or a running knee, and then I find some shit to dive off of, and I don't know if anyone else has said this, but like Tam Jack, you know, we make a lot of the comparisons of Tam to other wrestlers, whether it's Tanahashi or Michelle, but she went backstage, climbed up the same thing that DJ Pretty Dragon was working on the day before on pay-per-view, and jumped off the top of the fucking Titantron and landed on Shuri. They both make it back to the ring for the to break the 20 count. Tam seemingly has the advantage after working over the neck a little bit. Works over, it's a submission on Shuri. Shuri makes the ropes. Tam tries to put her away early, or kind of early. Nothing doing. Finally, hits, her two big moves, hit the violet screwdriver, gets a kick out, goes for the Twilight Dream. Shuri gets desperate. She fights to the ropes. She does the Tomohiro Ishii, and because her arms are caught, she can't get into the ropes. She bites down on the rope with her teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Tam gets her off the ropes, and she turns her sideways and hits the Twilight Dream, and like the super finisher, like Shuri gets her foot on the rope. Tam doesn't know what to do after that, and then Shuri proceeds to say, fourth quarter, I'm back. Fourth quarter, I'm strapped. She then proceeds to open
up the offense.
Opens up the offense. Kicks Tam's head off. Tam beats a knockout count at 10. Shuri goes for the kill. Tam ducks and then hits a fucking right hook. It drops Shuri. Tam gets her up. They're going back and forth with all sorts of kicks and shoot headbutts, and Tam his one last round of big offense of like a flurry of like knees and kicks or whatever else. It didn't work, and then Shuri from there just lights her up with kicks. Hit her with a head kick, dropped her, and then like Tam zombie sat up in a bridge. And then, like, Shuri fucking clocked her, took her fucking lights out, or knocked her fucking lights out with a shoot kick to the head that was just gross and disgusting and thudded like a headbutt. It was a shin. And then, I didn't mention the part where, like, Shuri had already hit her, Emerald Flosion. She ends up getting dragged in the dark waters, in the deep water so much by Tam that she has to use the one wing Emerald Flosion, like, I think it's the third time she's ever used it. She used it on the Tommy to win the belt. She used it to protect the belt again in March against Julia, and then she had to use it here against Tam. After the match, I don't know what he said, but I know what Tam said. Like when the belt was around Shuri's waist, and like they were respectful of each other, and like Tam touches the belt around Shuri's waist and was like, "Red belt. So close, but it's so far away." And she tells Shuri, like, "I'm willing to chase you to the depths of hell to get this." I think there'll be a match at some point between them, but like the whole story of this year from like the third show of the year was like Julia and Tam are racing to the top on some John Cena and Batista shit. Like, they are racing to the top to get to the red belt, and we don't know who's going to win, but like that is the top story of the year of like those two. And now we get to the Grand Prix, and we'll talk about that later in the week, but like we're going to the Grand Prix, and like either one of them two is winning this, but we may even get those two in the final, and like I can't wait for this tournament. We'll talk about it later in the week, but like, yeah, like all roads leads towards like those two are great, but Shuri's the final boss. And like they got more climb to do up that hill to get to Shuri.
Running up that hill. But this is really good. I didn't think it got to that elite level that I feel like I've seen both of them hit possibly in the past.
They have a better match in them, definitely, yeah.
And I was like, like I don't know. I felt like I was a 4 1/3.
Same.
On this, and I was like, I thought it'd be better, but it's still really good. That power up spot where she like yelled, and then like yo, you gonna sit up? Nah, I'll just sit your ass back down. Like,
I'm not gonna bug my eyes out or whatever else. Like it's WWE, I'm just gonna take your fucking block off, and dude, like the unprotected kick, like it was awesome. Took her fucking head off. Drain damage.
Yeah. I was into this one. Shuri rolls on.
Yep.
So how many defenses is that for her?
Let's see. Mirai, Julia, Mayu, Risa Sera, Himeka. I think Himeka was before Risa Sera. Momo, And so I think 7. I think 7.
Yeah.
You're 10.
Yeah, so
V7.
Interesting. So she's 7 months, long time.
Yeah. So in the middle of the Grand Prix, they're going to have a pay-per-view on the 21st of August. So, and she said she hasn't named who she wants to face, but some people believe it's going to be Nanai. And if and when that happens, I'm going to be fucking ecstatic because that is going to be a knockdown, drag-out war.
Can't wait.
Yeah, that's going to be up. That is going to be the hyper brawling right there. So, yeah, we'll see. But like,
any chances Takumi?
I mean, she's old because they went to that draw last year.
That's what I was getting at.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. Like, yeah, it could be. Look, sure, why not? Look, do whatever match you want to do, Shuri, because we already did the Risa Sarah match, the hardcore match, whatever else. Whatever title match you want to do, go out there and do it because come, you know, Russell or sorry, the year-end show that they're going to do or whatever else. We don't know where it's at yet. That's the perfect place for Tam or Julia to win this thing. Like, and they have great story, and they've told great story to both of them. Like, I've heard people complain about, or not complain, or have been kind of say they've been underwhelmed by Shuri's title reign.
I've heard that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it seems like there's a lot of focus elsewhere.
Yeah. I think that is strictly based off of her faction. Right. Like, but as far as, and also like this byproduct of having so many goddamn pay-per-views that you can't properly build, towards like having, you know, her go to draws and tags or whatever else.
Shows.
They do way too many fucking shows. Way too many shows or whatever else. And like, you know, to be fair is like, well, they do, in theory, the working idea is to do 2 pay-per-views per year or per week, but they're not, in their eyes, it's not a pay-per-view. It's like, it's just a big show that we haven't, if you want to watch it live, we give you the avenue to do it. You could just treat it like it's 2010 and just wait 4 days. I just can't stomach being off my phone for 4 days, so I just pay the money just to get it out my system. So I'm sure that's how they see it. Whatever.
That's how they get you.
Yeah, that's how they get me. But yeah, like I Stardom is showcasing shit ain't finna get me again. This shit ain't happening. But yeah, so but yeah, like I just think that like she's a dominant champion, and like whether and you look at the Grand Prix and the block she's in, and like there's like I think that like we're gonna get another Utami match for the year's over too with that. And like I think like if you compare like match per match, defense per defense, like it is very much in line with the Utami thing, except it doesn't have that all-time match thing on the thing. But like if you throw that one match and it actually involved Shuri in it and compared it, it's very comparable. So I think people have been overly harsh on it. Like there's no rush to take the belt off her. She's having great defenses. She's still like, unless you're saying Kamatani, in big matches, like she's still the best women's wrestler in the year. If I had to have it, or most outstanding women's wrestler, if I had to do a vote for it right now, in my opinion, night in, night out, like Kamatani might have a hair better defenses or people that people like more, but how about outside of the defenses? So yeah, like whatever, like they have treated her like a god. And like we are headed towards God season. We are headed towards Shuri season, tournament fighting, and can't wait. But anything else?
No, that's it, man.
Yeah, that's in the show. Yeah, that's in the show. Thanks for listening, y'all. Be sure to rate us on whatever app you use and listen to this. If you are watching the stream, the PayPal, the what I'm blanking on, Cash App. If you're listening, if you're listening on the podcast, go to the description, the link in our description, go to the red circle, go drop with a donation. Besides One Nation Radio on the Social Suplex Podcast Network, you got Keepin It Strong Style, the Ricky Clive Wrestling Show, Grown Man Washes Shit, 8-Bit Suplex, the Grave Consequences podcast, All Things Elite, Great Match Generator, Meet the Press Slam, Get in the Ring, and AEW Match Guide. I felt like Excalibur just now. But thanks for listening, y'all. Later.
Peace.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $700 on average, and those savings add up. Imagine what you could buy in the future.
So yeah, I used the savings from switching to Progressive 50 years ago to finally buy my dream car. It's a self-driving flying car, but we just say self-flying now. You know, because it's the future, and cars fly in the future.
So switch to Progressive and save big, because those savings can add up in the future. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National annual average insurance savings by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive in 2020. Potential savings will vary.
You already know the fun of Kings Island. Blue ice cream for lunch, catching your breath between screams on the Beast. But this summer at Kings Island, this is 50. Don't miss the 50th anniversary celebration all summer long with new shows, new food, and new fun. It's Kings Island's biggest summer yet. And now through August 14th, Kings Island is turning up the excitement with a daily 50 Years of Fun street party. It features dancers, music, and more, commemorating the last 50 years. Make plans today at visitkingsisland.com.